Even
You guys
beyond
wanna hear
Mike
a story?
Tyson, like face tattoo, Perry Saturn. Yes, please. I'm all in.
Are we like live?
I'm trying to figure it out to see if it is, because as soon as I hit
Might be
live, it's
very
like fucking dropping like crazy. So
I think I said this on the pod, like one of our first episodes, but might be Perry Saturn.
Even
That's how you
beyond
guys
Mike
know that wrestling was
Tyson,
scripted.
like face tattoo.
No
Perry
way.
Saturn.
that's how you
That's
found out
Lou,
wrestling was
peep this
scripted.
shit. I'm at an IHOP. I'm like 8. I'm with my grandma. I'm probably older than 8. I don't know what Moppy was. I'm with my grandma. We go up to talk to Perry Saturn, who's sitting here counting hundreds, not mentally handicapped, not with a mop.
Yo, we're live. I think we're live, dude.
We are unfortunately live right now, so that's how
We're
we're starting
live.
this
That's
bad
hilarious.
boy.
Oh no! Oh
Well, y'all,
fuck!
I don't know if you heard us talking about our drawers. I'm sorry. This is more professional than this normally.
I was having technical problems. Our top 2 people you see over here are not wearing pants, and then
Oh,
we just
yeah.
had
I'm not
how
butt ass naked, sweating in my seat. Though.
we
That'd
just
be
learned
weird.
how Pat figured out that wrestling is all
Work.
is all a
Yeah,
work.
do we get all of that on the live?
Let
I
me
was
see how
just
long
catching
we've been.
everybody up. I think we just got I was having technical problems. Yeah, you can hear me now. That's good.
Sorry about that.
We're doing we are off to a fantastic
This is a
start.
mess. This is a mess.
In all
right, let's
fairness,
dial in.
I
let's
wouldn't want
dial in.
this to start any other way.
That's
Yes,
true.
we're gonna
This is
Here
the
you
most
go.
authentic Up and Over podcast.
Listen, here's the deal, right? This is the last Up and Over podcast episode that we're doing before the new year. So firstly, fellas, and everybody listening, welcome to the Up and Over podcast, a podcast where a bunch of marks discuss pro wrestling, where their opinions don't matter, and none of it's a real thing. It's all work. I am, I'm a guy, and we're going to get to me. But I'd like to introduce the man. Looks like he's to my right. That is the Cadillac Cowboy himself, the one, the only. That is Mr. Ethan Lewis.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
You thought he died a long time ago. Turns out he didn't. We actually have Bam Bam Bigelow on the podcast this week. That is the man streaming from his living room that looks like a guest bedroom. That is Casey El Gordo Gringo.
Glad you appreciate the jacket here.
Yeah, I wonder if you... Never mind, it's fine. I bet you chain smoke cigarettes.
A lot.
Something Bam Bam did. Then I have the eclectic duo down in the right-hand corner. Firstly, the man with the toughest jersey on right now. The one, the only. That is Big Papa C. That is Cortland.
What's up, y'all? Glad to be here. Glad it's the end of the year.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. If I got in a fight in the middle of a street and I wanted somebody next to me, it'd be the guy next to him with the Mission Impossible 2 hat. That's going to be my buddy, my boy. That's Patty.
Yo, real quick. This is not wrestling related. R.I.P. John Madden.
Yeah, R.I.P. John.
R.I.P. John Madden.
R.I.P. John Madden for sure. I just woke up maybe 5-10 minutes ago. I get on here. I have to figure out what to do with all this. And then I get told that I have to do the intro with nothing written down. You don't know how hard it is being Mike Klinsky.
No idea how hard it is. This man has no pants on. Just gonna...
I have no pants
He's
on.
fucking
You ain't the
Winnie-
only one.
Motherfucking Winnie
Pantsless
the Pooh over
podcasts,
here.
baby. Pantsless podcasts for days. Fellas, ladies and gentlemen, the viewers, the listeners of the Up and Over podcast, since this is the last one that we are doing before the New Year's, I want to wish you all a happy New Year. I hope that 2022 whoops ass. I hope it brings cool things into your life. And really, I hope that you get to see all the cool wrestling that is possible in the world. Fellas, we have a doozy lined up today.
Ooh.
The Not a Slammy Awards that were given out here at Up and Over podcast. I mean, anybody want to cover anything before we dive right into these guys?
I mean,
I'm
Say
gonna
we
be
got
honest,
right in.
man.
there
I
ain't
have
much to
been-
cover. We just have a bunch of sad shit that just happened over the last couple of days,
Yep.
though.
Yep. I'd like to say a huge rest in peace to Marcus Crane, one of the more prolific deathmatch wrestlers in the past decade, I'd say, in the United States. Passed away super suddenly at the age of 33 yesterday, which is, I mean, you're talking, a 5-year difference between him and me, right? So it's like hitting home. I mean, I know Casey's like 74 with like grandchildren. So he's way past that, but 33 is very young. It's super sad. And so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Marcus Crane. Rest in peace there for sure.
And we just had the anniversary of the one,
and
the exalted one.
Of the exalted one, Mr. Brody Lee, Luke Harper, Big Rig, whatever you knew him as. That man was pretty entertaining, y'all. And everybody that speaks about him that ever got to talk with him only says that he was an angel. And so, man, what a terrible year without him around. Like, there's so much that you question with AEW with if Brody's around, like, what's it look like? What's the landscape like, right? Because they were running with, it was him versus Colt Cabana is what they were building for.
Yeah.
And so I always think, like, what was coming of that? Like, where would Colt be on the card? Like, what would have happened? And so it is very, very sad. Brody Lee forever, man, for real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it's been a year already. That's the weirdest.
Yeah,
I'll never. We were eating Christmas dinner because we do Christmas like after, and my brother just shows me his phone and it just says R.I.P. Brody Lee, and I was like, oh my god, like what happened? So certainly something that I'll live with for sure. Like remembering, like I'll always know where I was when his passing was announced, which is miserably sad. But fellas, let's say one positive thing here, right? One positive thing for me in the past week is that I didn't have to see Michael Cole's bitch ass interact with anyone on Twitter because he has me blocked.
I fucking knew.
Didn't have to hear anything racist from King.
That's fair. Didn't have to sit
all
through
I
a Tori Wilson, Dawn Marie segment. Hopefully those are in 2021 and don't come back. Man. Oh, man. All right, fellas, let's jump in. We have the end of year awards presented by Up and
Stacker
Over.
2.
Stacker 2
PlayStation 2. Guys, I'm going to dive right into the first one I have written down, and that is going to be our newcomer / rookie of the year. Now, this is one that I had a difficult time figuring out in my brain. However, today, somebody struck a light bulb in my head and turned that son of a bitch on.
Was it Veer?
Casey.
Send Veer.
This has been the Up and Over podcast. You guys have a great day. Casey, since you want to have a smart-ass mouth about it, let's start with you, bud. Who do you have as your rookie of the year? Who is the first award that you are giving out today?
Man, this is just like one of those ones where it's like, is there like really anyone that was super duper impressive besides Hook? The man was over before he even got in the fucking ring. He's turned the entire internet community against him in one match because he no-sold a couple spots that are identical to his dad's.
Those are losers. If you're mad because of that fucking pile driver, go the fuck on. The boy's 16 years old.
Jeff said Veer, a.k.a. the Funkasaurus.
I like how everyone just went with it.
I was like, he's young. He's young. He's got a lot of charisma in him for being in the ring for 2.5 fucking minutes. And like, if you literally like a bunch of people, including Taz himself, fucking put side by side videos of like doing exact Taz and ECW spots, I'm like, fuck it, let the kid have it.
Yeah. Yeah, his finisher is so sick. He looks very clean and crisp in what he does. I love that pick, Casey. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to that before we pass it off to the Cadillac Cowboy to my right?
Send it on over.
Ethan.
So, the Newcomer Rookie of the Year award, it's always been something that's hard for me. Not as hard as an award we're going to get to later. But it's like, because wrestling's so weird because it's, for me, it's like, who is really a rookie? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these people will pick Hook is a very good one because Hook literally just came onto the scene, but sometimes in PWI and stuff, you'll see newcomers and rookies of the year who've been wrestling 6 and 7 years, and then you're like, is this person, can you consider this person a newcomer rookie? So it's always hard for me to figure out who should be picked for this. But this year, there were several good picks, Hook being one of them. But my pick is a man who showed up to work and made the best out of a rough situation, Dante Martin. Primarily a tag team wrestler. His brother gets injured, and not only does he still show up on TV, he steals the show. I mean, aside from Hook, I mean, who else has shown up, that's super new and fresh, hasn't been in other companies, hasn't been on the indies, hasn't been in Japan. And he just shows up, and he's given all these opportunities, not just spot matches. He worked that match with Malachi Black, super impressive, working underneath, selling. I just think Dante Martin's the newcomer of the year, and that's my pick.
There's a couple of Dantes in the chat already. So.
Yeah, we have some Dantes. Jeff is very excited that you said Dante. He said, "There you go, Ethan." You have Colby in the chat saying, "If you're not a hooker, you're wrong." We have a dewdrop. I don't even want to acknowledge the dewdrop in the chat.
Buddy, dewdrop.
Alex over here going dewdrop.
It's miserable. Pat, let's jump over to you, my friend. What do you have for us?
I agreed with Ethan. I went Dante Martin. It's between Dante Martin and Hook, obviously. But Dante Martin, to me, like you said, man, he came in with a bad situation. He's a wrestler that I've watched literally get better in front of my eyes, like from the start to finish. I'm still with Dante Martin. I'm still on Dante's team. I might be a hooker next week. Who knows?
You're a hooker always.
You could be both. These are not mutually exclusive things. Cortland, what do you have for us, my friend?
I picked Dante Martin as well. And
yes,
it's mostly just for, like Ethan said, he's just putting on these matches that are taking over whole shows. I'm thoroughly interested in what he's doing. He hangs with the best of them. And I'm really excited to see what his next year holds for him. I think it could be really good.
Yeah. Especially if Darius does come back, right? You can definitely see like a top flight tag team title run potentially, just depending on where Darius is. But it's sick, man. I love it.
Top flight security, Craig.
So I knew Hook was going to be on here. I knew Hook was going to be said, but I'd like to tell you guys what I have written down.
What you got?
Was there ever any doubt? Hook has been he's absolutely taken over the wrestling world, leading pro wrestling tee sales since his merchandise was released on the site, and he's only worked 2 matches, which were awesome. I wanted to leave you with my favorite lyrics of his theme song, "The Chairman's Intent" by Action Bronson, and then I'll get into my runner-up, who I really want to go with, right? Because Hook is such an easy answer. But my favorite lyrics here are, "I started clapping when the chef brought the duck to the table. That shit was shining like an angel. I never trust a dude named Angel. Long steel 4/5 turn him to an angel."
Jesus.
I just thought it was...
Damn, Hook.
Hook is ready to kill somebody.
Red rum indeed.
Red rum indeed. My runner-up, because I couldn't find any other matches of his beyond 2021, like into 2020 or earlier. I'm going with Ninja Kamikaze Mac, y'all. Has there been a more exciting independent wrestler in the year 2021 than Ninja Mac? He is absolutely must-see every time he steps into an independent ring. Whether it be for GCW, he was doing a lot of stuff on the Collective and down in Tampa with little tiny indie companies. He's a legitimate athlete. And if he can establish himself as a really solid storyteller, not even like a great storyteller, right? But a mid-card storyteller, there's no ceiling for him. And I'm willing to bet that he makes that jump. Ninja Fuck Mac deserves a hell of a lot more eyes on his talents in 2022, and that is who I'm going with.
Okay. I will say on Ninja Mac, he to me is kind of what, like, there's, to me on the indies, there's always been that one guy every year or two who's like, obviously a spotty guy, like that high flying guy who's like, oh, that dude just innovated what everyone before him did. You had the Matt Seidels, then you had the Ricochets, then you had Will Ospreay. And to me, Ninja Mac's the one for 2021. I feel like he could easily follow in the footsteps of all those guys. And Mike, I know they had him wrestle that match against Eras and GCW.
Yeah.
That was I really liked it because they didn't work spotty. You know, they were trying to tell a little bit of a story, and it showed that he can. You know, he's got potential in that regard too. So
for sure. That's a guy that I would love to see, and he apparently has turned down multiple contract offers from different companies. And dude, he's just enjoying wrestling, and I'm telling you, man, if you have not seen Ninja Mac, do yourself a favor. You're selling yourself short. We'll move on. We have up next on the docket, Show of the Year. And we are going to start with one. Mr. Cortland, let's go down to you, my friend.
I have two, but I'm going to make it short and sweet. I believe I have a personal one. My personal is, I believe if I'm right, it's Fight for the Fallen Dynamite that happened in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Sure.
That is my personal
That's
show
the
of the
Nick
year.
Gage one, no?
Yeah, Nick Gage and Chris
baby.
Jericho death match. Fantastic match. That crowd was hot as it gets. So that's my personal show of the year. But overall, man, you got to look at All Out. All Out 2021 is the one. You had so many debuts, amazing matches, and I felt like everyone walked away from that pay-per-view saying that might have been one of their favorite pay-per-views of all time. I mean, people were comparing it to, not to talk about them, but like WrestleMania 17, you know? Like, people were comparing it to
I
like
remember where I was when WrestleMania 17 was live. I remember where I was. And I will always remember where I was for All Out. I absolutely do understand that. What was your favorite match on that card?
I can't say that just yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
Tease me, Cortland.
Cortland, anything else that you wanted to add to your answer with All Out 2021? I know I cut you off a little bit there, man.
Yeah, just the main thing about Dynamite, like us going to that one, the Fight for the Fallen, that was so cool, was it was my first time seeing a death match in person. It's certainly a spectacle. However, I do think death matches go a little too far a lot of times. And which is really wild for me to just like be such a big ECW fan, but looking at death matches now and like how far we've taken it, it's just getting kind of out of hand. And I just want to point out like be safe in the ring. Just because it makes show of the year or one of my favorite matches of the year doesn't mean it's particularly the greatest thing you've ever done. You almost killed yourself for 10,000 people. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah, just stay safe. Not trying to hurt each other so much.
I like it. Casey, what'd you have for show of the year, my friend?
So I went a little different with it, and I think it is more of a sentimental reason. But I gave it to Final Battle 2021. Just because it's the last of, we don't like, it's like weird because like I don't want to like kind of keep saying like, oh, like this is the end of ROH or whatever, because like there is the talks that they're coming back in some capacity, but we just don't know. So like tentatively this is the last ever Final Battle. And like obviously like yeah, I don't think if you put it up next to All Out, it's gonna even fucking come remotely close. But like, I do believe that it just gets my well done, boys, because it was a good one, and they even had some problems last minute, and they were able to pull out, able to pull out some shit, and then we even still have a couple of things that are like in the air, like where we have like champion versus champion for the women's title. That's supposedly still supposed to happen. So, yeah,
I back that one. I back that one really hard. I mean, whether it's going to be looked at as on par of a show with All Out, it's still one for the history books. No one's ever going to forget the last Final Battle, or even if it's just a hiatus and ROH pops back off, that still was the end of an era and a big era.
A very big one.
Yeah. Pat, let's jump back to you, my friend. What do you have for show of the year?
I went with All Out, man. Like, man, that was easily one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. And I don't want to sound like a mark, but I mean, deadass. It was easily one of the best pay-per-views I've ever fucking seen. It's good as fuck. Every match is tight. It's like one of those pay-per-views that like you watch back and you kind of lose track of how like long it is, because it's just like you're just glued. You're just watching the shit. And I'm not going to say my favorite matches on that shit because, you know, there's other questions to be asked later on this night. So we're just going to keep it moving.
Sure. Ethan, you and I had briefly discussed this, and I feel like we might have the same answer. But I will pass this off to you, my good friend.
Okay.
What is your show of the year?
We'll split the difference. But my show of the year, as well as what I'm pretty sure Mike says, is Double or Nothing from AEW. Me and Mike both attended All Out and Double or Nothing. Both experiences I'll never forget in my life. Hands down, the best wrestling experiences I've ever had. But to me, what sets Double or Nothing apart is two big things. One, this is the first time myself, Mike, and Donnie, as friends who bonded over wrestling, ever went to an event together, which is a crazy first one for us all. And two, it was the first show back after COVID for AEW with full fans. So after everything we all have went through in that year, and for it being our first one together as friends, just that feeling when that show started and the wrestlers come out and there's people that just everyone's energy is all one. You know what I mean? For so long we were watching TV and it's so dull. You know, not dull because I don't want to shit on empty arena wrestling because you had to do what you had to do. But just feeling that bond with all of those fans and with those wrestlers, just everyone in that moment again, just a crazy fucking feeling. And there was a pre-show match, but the first match on the main card was Hangman Page and Brian Cage. And not to steal another point I know Mike's going to bring up, but when Hangman comes out, you know what I mean? And that's also when you knew, because a lot of people wondered during the pandemic, who's really still over? Are the fans still with Hangman? You know what I mean? Are they still with him? And when he came out and that place fucking came unglued, you know, chills stand up on me right now just thinking about it. And then one last thing I want to mention on it before I pass it to Mike. One of my favorite matches of the year was Moxley and Kingston versus the Young Bucks. And honestly, the moment I'll remember most from that show is the John Moxley and Eddie Kingston entrance. I don't know if it came across on TV as strong as it did there, but dude, when Wild Thing hit and I looked over and saw them kick that door open, dude, I wanted to fucking shoot through the goddamn sky. Just and that was another one too where you saw like somebody who you were like, all right, this person came on up in the pandemic, you know, let's see how the crowd reacts to him. Eddie Kingston. They're chanting his name during him and Moxley's entrance. You know, they get in the ring and pose, they're chanting Eddie Kingston. You know what I mean? It's just like, damn, seeing that guy get his moment to feel what the fans felt towards him after, you know, 6 or 8 months of being in this new territory, diving into deep water. You know, I know that had to mean a lot to him to finally get in front of the AEW fans and feel that back. You know, just that me and Mike and Donnie got to be a part of that will stick with me forever. Not to get sentimental. I'll pass it.
You stole my fucking thunder, buddy.
Who's cutting onions?
No, Ethan hit the nail on the head, man. It's Double or Nothing, May 30th, 2021. There's something endearing about Daly's Place, right? There's something very endearing. And if you have the opportunity to, I would tell you to go to a show that AEW is running at Daly's Place. It is, it feels home, you know? It feels like AEW's house, you know? I'm upset that Ethan didn't mention the pre-show card or the match on the pre-show, which was Serena Deeb defending the NWA Women's Championship against Riho. And there was like the sun was setting, it was hitting the ring perfectly, and there was like let's go Riho, let's go Deeb, like dual chants.
It felt like a Mania main event or some shit, dude.
I'll tell you what, man, right? I'll tell you what. This was special for a multitude of reasons, right? Firstly, I had done WrestleMania with my brother this year. I had done a ton of GCW stuff. I did a Dynamite, but it wasn't really full, right? There wasn't a ton of fans. This was packed, man. We got sunburns standing in the sun waiting for doors, right? We get in. Liz is with us. It's 4 of us. It's Donnie, Liz, Ethan, and I. And Liz is like, I just kind of came along for the ride. It's fine. Dude, the spot when Hangman gets on the top turnbuckle and does a moonsault to the outside, I watched Liz be the first person to grab her shit, stand up like, let's fucking go. And that was it, man. That was the moment that I was like, this is beyond what I expected this to be. Like, this is like the coolest shit that you could be a part of. So, and then like you said, Ethan, the Mox Kingston entrance was crazy. Eddie Kingston has said that moment is when he knew that he belonged in AEW, which is awesome. And then you also had Hangman Page's entrance was, I thought, like, there was multiple times in the night where I had to grab on Ethan because I thought I was going out because I was going nuts. Like, it was crazy.
He was. He looked
Yeah. This, like, specific moment was Evil Uno coming out in the Casino Battle Royale. I was losing my mind. It was so loud, and I had to grab Ethan because I was like, my shit is going tunnel vision. I'm going down, fellas. This is a bad day. So yeah, that pay-per-view was an experience for sure. Moving forward,
I just want to say I keep forgetting that Mike has a fucking ski mask on. And so when I look away at the stream and all the things to make sure everything's okay, and I look back up and I'm like, oh god damn it! Like, what the fuck is happening?
It's just crazy how sentimental you're being in this ski mask right now.
Ski mask and a
fuck Michael Cole,
fuck Hulk Hogan. We're just repping it right now. Fuck it, dude.
All right, fellas. We're getting into our tag team of the year, and I'm gonna take point on this, fellas, because I want to get mine out before any of y'all do. I'm sure that no. If one of y'all have the same tag team as me, something's wrong.
Okay.
I went a different route on some of these. Okay. And mine is anticipation moving forward with a tag team. With that in mind, the tag team I am most excited for out of this year is Kings of the Black Throne. That is Malachi Black and Brody King.
Good one.
Your Pro Wrestling Guerrilla tag team champions.
Technically speaking, they are tag team champions somewhere, so it's not even like a future thing. They are technically current tag champs, so.
However, in the landscape moving forward of television wrestling, there's some dark future on the way, I think, with Malachi Black and Brody King. I didn't realize how much I needed this pairing until it was announced that the pairing happened at 3 Men This Far. Or 6. 4. It was 4. It's 4. It's fine.
No,
pick a number.
Is it 6? Shit.
Yeah. Anyways.
At 3 Mendes, right? When I saw that was the pairing that they're running with, and they put the titles on them, ask Ethan, man. I was stunned. And that is something that I need in my life now. So with that said, I'm going to jump it down to El Gordo. Casey, what do you have for me, my friend?
This was fucking the hardest goddamn one for me. Cause it's hard cause it's just I love tag team wrestling. There's a lot, it's just hard. Like, my heart wants to go with fucking FTR because they make me happy. Like, I love that it's till the day that those two fuckers retire, they're gonna keep the old school fucking style.
We're wrestling, baby.
They are wrestling. We're good at wrestle. I'm gonna go with them, but I have to tip the cap, unfortunately, to the fucking Young Bucks, and I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want to. I don't like it.
Yeah, turn the heater on, Casey. Turn it on.
In the episode none of you were ever gonna hear, I said them over.
Oh, you said a lot of
shit.
Oh man.
I feel like a lot of things. Most importantly, I do just feel like it's the same kind of thing coming with Cody right now. I'm just tired of seeing your fucking faces. I feel like, especially with I do feel like AEW is kind of falling into this problem that even though they have fucking 2 versions of Dark, they've got a Rampage and they've got a Dynamite, I'm still seeing the same handful of people. And I feel like AEW got a lot of groups of people, and I'm not seeing a lot of them. I'm seeing weird iterations of them. Like, I'm seeing one half of the Varsity Blondes with fucking Flying Brian. We got them doing we're doing singles matches, but we're a tag team. Like, why aren't we showing them instead? And I'm getting more Buck stuff. Like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I don't want to ramble forever, but I'm gonna give it to FTR. They're gonna be my tag team. Someone else take it before a riot starts. I don't know.
I like it. Let's go over to Pat. Pat, what you got for me, my friend? What was your tag team of the year in 2021?
All right. I went with the Young Bucks. Like, completely. For a whole year.
Immediately pissing Casey off.
I went with the Bucks. I went with the Young Bucks. Just this entire year, they just had a fucking stellar year. And I'm glad that right now what they're doing is chilling the fuck out, because we saw a lot of them this year.
Yeah.
And they're kind of kicking it. They're not, they've had some crazy matches. I will say this, though, Mike. I know this is a podcast based off of opinions, but the right answer to this question is literally what Mike said. That is the most exciting thing to happen in tag team wrestling right now. And I honestly wish that was my answer. So I will say that.
Boys, I gave this some thought because I know you all are. We have it in our tagline, right? It's like a wrestling podcast where a bunch of marks discuss it, right? And so I know you fuckers are marks. I had to go a different route than you sons of bitches. So I had to go off the beaten path. I had to figure it out.
Your mission was to go off the beaten path, and you've succeeded so far.
Yes.
Oh, buddy.
It's gonna get weird tonight.
I love it. Pat, I love that you went with the Bucks. Casey, I love hearing that you gave the Bucks some props. Cortland, if you say it's lay sex gods because you have that Chris Jericho jersey on, I might hang up.
Hang up.
Episodes ending early, boys.
Now,
hanging it up.
I'm gonna go with my runner up first. I'm gonna go ahead and get one out. I think the Usos deserve their flowers. I do not watch a lot of WWE programming. However, you cannot deny that Jey Uso has wrestled his motherfucking ass off this year, and everything I've seen him do looks fantastic. Obviously, him and Jimmy they're just so great together. And the stuff that they're doing with Roman, people can hate it and shit on it all they want. I think it's the best thing that company has at the moment. I enjoy Roman being this person. I think that it only benefits him to be this character. And him working with Paul for the stint that he did, I feel like it's only going to benefit him even more. And if you go back and you look at the Jey Uso and Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell match, it's truly phenomenal storytelling. And I don't think any other tag team would have made you feel the way that they made you feel in that match. So that's my runner-up for this year. But it is the Young Bucks, and the numbers don't lie, bud.
Ooh-wee.
The numbers don't lie. You look at how great this year has been for them between Dynamite, Rampage, and these pay-per-views. I mean, everyone wants to be around them. Everyone wants to wrestle them. Every single company wants the Young Bucks, and they want everybody else. They want to genuinely prove that they're one of the best, and I want it to be FTR for me. FTR is my favorite tag team. I want it to be. But I can't say that I rated any FTR match as high as I've rated multiple Young Bucks matches this year. So, Young Bucks, 100%. You deserve every flower this year. Thank you for almost destroying your body for my entertainment.
Creasing up all those shoes, creasing up all those sneakers.
I mean, dude, right?
I mean, and not to mention, it's just like being the elite. It's another piece of pro wrestling that I get to watch every week, and it's thanks to them that I'm more entertained by more pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
they give you another 15, 20 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes of non-wrestling wrestling.
Yeah,
exactly.
Still, it all correlates into their storylines too. That's what people don't realize with being the elite, is that it's all storyline driven. We do have a handful of FTR onlys. Yes, FTR. We have the Colby and Kylie both in the chat. Hunter said that Casey is on fire. I don't know if he means literally, but
I'm on fire.
Hunter might be a little too stoned for that one. Then we have Jordan. Jordan just got here, said sex gods forever. Then I hope he leaves. I don't mean that. Please don't leave.
He also said the Bloodline story is hot garbage.
Yeah,
But the Usos are incredible.
The Usos are incredible. I do see Alex in the chat as well. She said inspiration would be hers. And I love that.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
How do you not love him?
Hell yeah.
That leaves the cowboy himself. That leaves Ethan Lewis. Who you got here, bud?
All right, guys. Well, I've got two. Y'all think I'm about to go off every time I start off with that
I just
shit.
want the most obscured fucking tag team I've never heard of before.
Oh, no, this is gonna you're gonna hang up here in a minute because this is gonna be some Young Bucks love, buddy.
No, listen. No, okay. Well, it is, but I have two honorable mentions, runner-ups. I'm gonna cover real quick after I go through. But the Young Bucks are my pick. I just truly. I've gone on record. I don't know if I've gone on record. I've had conversations with people. I think the argument could be made that the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time. You've had who has been more consistent and had these, like, here's the thing. You have the matches like the Trios match at Full Gear where Casey's mad. At Full Gear where
I'm just going to say that's a bold statement, Doc.
But it's a bold statement. Let's get into it.
He was so mad.
Tell me a team who has competed at this high of a level month in and month out for 12 years. Tell me a team who, on top of that, changed wrestling and put up and basically co-founded a company to rival Vince McMahon for the first time in 15 to 20 years. Just
because I don't fucking like it doesn't mean you're not right. I can still fucking hate the opinion.
There we go.
It's just a bold fucking statement.
I mean, they're my favorite tag team of all time. And anyway, we're not debating that. The Young Bucks this year, I agree. Sometimes AEW, I'm like, damn, I'd like to see somebody besides the Bucks. But then if you think about it, you know, what other team has that big time feel with their matches? What team has that, you know, just everything the Bucks do is on such a higher level, it feels, you know, and that's not even me as just a fan. It's just like, because one of my honorable mentions, going to shock a lot of you, is FTR. I've never been, and y'all all know this, you know how I am. FTR's never been a team I've bent over backwards for. You know, I liked the Revival match with DIY and NXT, you know, and I've liked things here or there. Other things I've been like, I could care less.
One of the greatest tag team matches of all time. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, I shit on NXT a lot, but that was one of those matches where it's like, it's undeniable. That shit fucking ruled. But with FTR, the reason I want to mention them this year is this is the first year where they've really grown on me. And where I've felt like drawn to them, where I'm like, damn, I want to see FTR do this, or like, damn, FTR is fucking so good.
Do you think adding Tully helped with that, or is it just like the more time seeing them?
What I think it is I feel like they found their place more so than they have in any other company prior. Like right now, this role they're in, especially that Trios match with Punk and Darby and Sting and all that, it's like, they're so perfect in that role, you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like they've started finding a groove, you know. Before it felt like, you know, for instance, you know, the pandemic, I think, contributed because the fucking dream match with the Bucks was to no fans, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, not to attribute everything to fans and stuff, but I don't know. This year it just really started clicking for me, and I think they're fucking awesome. So I wanted to mention them. I guess everything that needs to be said about the Bucks has been said. You know, their year cannot be denied. I'm glad they're taking a step back, like Pat said. I think they're better about that than it seems.
Rest of them bones.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Rest up, fellas.
Because my thing is, dude, these guys, before AEW even started, their bodies were beat to shit.
Yes.
You know, they were fucking doing indie takers off the fucking...
I mean, how many times have they gotten their heels worked on? Like, dude, it feels like every year one of them's like, broke my heel.
Yeah.
Like, pulled something
Heel
in my
swole
foot.
up. What happened? I don't know. Like, it's just, they're crazy.
I don't know. I'm going to go get
Too
an
many
X-ray.
super
He said
kicks.
it's not broken. And it's like,
Literally.
dude, yes, it is.
Oh, man.
His body's broken.
That photo says it is.
Yeah.
Who was the other tag team that you had? as an
The last honorable
mention?
mention I just want to mention is Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi.
Yeah.
They've been IWGP heavyweight tag champs almost all year. They've dropped them one or two times, but it was just quick changes. But man, New Japan's had a hard year. But guys like Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi are the unsung heroes because, man, they were wrestling 40-minute title matches to almost no fans against Naito and Sonata, just like night in and night out. And it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? They're not like a favorite tag team of mine. I do love Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi's a fucking hoot. But I mean, those guys busted their ass this year. They held gold in one of the biggest companies in the world. What's up? A hoot,
just,
baby. We hoot and
Chi's just a hoot. Tai Chi's a hoot.
Just a goddamn
Tai Chi's a hoot, bubba.
Tai Chi's a hoot. Love Zack Sabre Jr. Tai Chi's a hoot.
I love you.
Mike, give it to me, man.
Like I said, Kings of the Black Throne, for sure. I want to tell you about the chat that's happening.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Hunter responded, I am stoned, but his face when Court said Young Bucks, he looked like he wanted to die. Then I guess Casey still was wearing. Oh no, this is probably when he started talking to Ethan.
This is
Hunter,
when Ethan, when he had
Hunter
mentioned
replied,
Beth.
See, the boy is mad. And then Jordan said, angry Casey. And then Jordan also said, do the flames grow when Casey gets madder? Is it like Super Saiyan power up?
It's been like really hard to like pay attention to all the good points that Ethan's been saying, and then this fucking nonsense.
This chat is insane.
We
also have
chat pulled up now.
We also have Alex with a hoot in chat. Which
make sure to like and subscribe.
5 hoots.
Yeah. Let's take a pause real quick. If you're here and you're not subscribed to the Up and Over podcast on YouTube, feel free to press that little red button, or it might be gray if you're on dark mode.
And if you like us, it helps this video get into other discovery pages.
There's a little
in YouTube.
There's a little
press that like button,
little thumbs
like,
up button.
Share, comment after this thing's over with. Tell your friends, tell everybody, man. Up and over.
It would be
bunch of marks.
a real hoot if you press that little thumbs up button. Look at that. We just got a couple more
real
right
big
there.
hoot.
Hold up. Dead ass, I just saw the likes go from 4 to 7 right after we said that.
I love it.
That's what we're doing.
Appreciate y'all,
Go
man.
click it.
Okay. You want to talk about Mr. Ski Mask getting sentimental? We're going to do it here in a minute.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is going to be your moment of the year. And you see Mr. Stretch over there?
Before, really fast, because we didn't get to talk about this because you fucking showed up a minute and a half before we had to go live.
That's true. I woke up.
You
I'm
did
sorry.
add 2 more to this, and I just want to know. I just want to make sure that we
Let's
had those.
talk them in now. Let's talk them in now, so we're not sentimental. Because I will cry.
We're gonna get sad, but
Wait,
He just tucked in 2 surprises.
wait, what the fuck?
No, it's fine. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It's fine.
Mike,
I just wanted to
ask me
mention
the-
some stuff.
ask me the questions.
Ask him. Ask Pat.
Rivalry of the year.
Oh,
Got mine off rip.
Go.
Court,
Rip.
go on ahead.
It's MJF and Darby, dude. I'm sorry.
It's good stuff.
And I'm not a huge Darby fan because I don't like people that just want to die. But like, it's insane. The match that they pulled out All Out. It is not, however, that's probably my personally favorite match of All Out. Would be that match. I think this rivalry has just been going on and on. They follow each other everywhere they go. And, I mean, this time was no different. They beat the shit out of each other, and they almost stole the whole show. And it was an opener. So, I mean, the blow-off for them is amazing. I've touched on it before with the punch of the Dynamite Diamond and then the headlock takeover pin. I mean, what a fucking... Oh, man. This rivalry will never end, and I hope it never does. I hope that they do this literally forever. Like, if WWE is genuinely if WWE wants MJF, you have to bring Darby with them.
yeah.
Because that's the only way that shit's going to make sense for anyone over there. In my opinion. But I'll back it up.
I'm gonna let Pat breathe so he can marinate in his head and figure these things out. Okay, Pat, just to get you on the fast track to the next one, so you can ponder that one too. Worst moment of the year. Your dishonorable mention here, right?
Dude drops heel turn.
Oh Jesus fuck! All right, well, we have one person rivalry of the year: Arn Anderson versus Gravity from Winley Mania. MJF and Brian Pillman Jr. is an honorable mention just for the insults. Didn't he say he was going to board him?
Alex's Miro versus God. We got that one in there.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. Let's go with Ethan. Ethan, what is your rivalry of the year?
Mine's easy peasy. I mean, I feel like a lot of people would vote this, but I'm gonna go with Paige versus Omega.
I was gonna. Yep.
It was a story that just progressed as the year went on, and it would be touched on throughout the year, and they built to the perfect finale. And also, I'll never forget the match in Charlotte. We all saw the elimination tag with Dark Order versus the Elite. Just great stuff. That's my pick. I didn't have a lot of time to think on it, so it's just kind of whatever came to mind.
It's a slam dunk, man, for sure. Mm-hmm. Casey, down in the living room, guest bedroom thing.
I'm gonna go with what I said in our group chat. I'm gonna go with Tony Khan versus the Facebook internet wrestling community. Those motherfuckers hate everything he says.
They hate AEW in general, man.
He can literally just be like, it's 72 out in Jacksonville, and you can show a picture of it saying it's 72, and the entire fucking comments would be like, he's a piece of shit. He's ruining fucking everything.
From WWE, you son of a bitch, you stole it. It's a stolen gimmick, you fucks. Yeah, dude, people are angry. Pat, I'm going to give this one to you now, bud. What you got?
All right. This might be cap. This is just what's popping in my head right now. It's right off the top of your head.
I get it. It's okay. The pressure is there.
Right now,
I get it.
I'm really excited about Cody and Malachi Black.
Ooh.
I know this sounds crazy as fuck, but yeah, I honestly think this could, if done well, could further Cody's career and actually maybe not have so much hate going to his side. I'm going to piggyback that to the next question if everybody's already done there to the lowest.
I've not, but I will pass it to you first.
I want to piggyback off of Pat real fast. I think that the only reason why it's a good rivalry is because we get to see Cody get kicked in the face a bunch. And I don't feel like anyone in here or in the chat is going to disagree with that. So, Mike.
My rivalry of the year is Matt Cardona versus the GCW fan base.
Holy shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Name me one singular heel that was better this year. And that's real heat. That was get out the damn exit before these motherfuckers meet me outside type heat. They're gonna beat my ass type heat. I'm getting jumped in the parking lot type heat. This is
glass. It's not like he's in a safe room either.
No.
These motherfuckers are fucking smashing Budweisers and bottles and chucking.
He thought he was safe in the showroom in Atlantic City. He thought he was safe. And the GCW security guys, who are really just wrestlers that are just trying to make it, they literally have to grab him and be like, we have to get the fuck out of here. They're going to beat your ass here in a minute. This is coming down. So I don't know how you can go away from that, because that is genuine hatred. And he embraced it.
Him coming back and being like, I'm the king of death matches, him just taking it over and making them even more fucking mad was just great. He took that title to fucking Disneyland and was just like, fuck you, I'm the champion.
And not that she needed it either, but shout out Chelsea Green for just kind of walking this path with him.
Yeah.
And she's carving this hell of a path right beside him.
Fuck.
And it is tough as hell. She's tough as nails, man. And just seeing signs in AEW of people
Chelsea Green
equals ratings. Good on her, man. I think it's really cool. Because with a lot of people, it could have failed just being another wrestler married to another wrestler. But it somehow it's moving.
Since we're on the topic, now that Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green have got some fucking steam behind them, how do y'all feel about Matt Cardona in AEW in 2022?
I enjoyed that.
Did you see his post today?
No.
He did Matt Cardona himself did an end of year kind of recap, and instead of it being a bunch of things, he was like the first.
Mark stole it from us, the piece of shit.
He was just the first 6 months of the year, I was a fucking free agent. He's like, I did a couple spots with AEW. He's like, they never called me back. Impact Wrestling didn't have anything for me, and he's like, fuck GCW. But like, yeah, I would be interested. I feel like him saying fine instead of sitting on his ass, he did something I don't think a single one of us could have thought. Him being like, I'm gonna have a feud with fucking Nick Gage for fun. Like honestly, I feel like you got to give him something coming into the next year. And I don't feel like it'd be bad to have him at AEW. It's someone that was around for quite some time that can help. In some
He has been
that he did
tearing it up on the indies.
I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do for GCW. He put that company even further on the map, especially in the internet community and as like the internet wrestling community. So like him going to the next place is ideal, but he really did great numbers for them, and hopefully GCW just keeps moving and doing what they do best right now.
Yeah. A few that were, I'm not reading one of Alex's. It's fine. We'll skip over it. One was Seth versus that fan.
There's a piggyback to that, which is that fan versus reality.
yo, my man's excuse for tackling Seth Rollins is probably the craziest shit.
It's good stuff. I did it for Rikishi. I did it for the Rock.
He attacked him, posted bail, and kept kayfabe for a promo.
Yo,
immediately after being released.
Did you hear? Apparently, he was at the Madison Square Garden event.
Yeah, and Seth wasn't there. Seth fears that guy. Seth fears him. It's a conspiracy, y'all.
It's funny that he showed up because no one else did.
We also had Nick Khan versus the WWE roster.
Fuck Nick Khan.
Really, it's more WWE talent versus answering their phone when it's John Laurinaitis, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not even no. It's not even a phone call. He doesn't even have the balls to do that. It's an email.
A mic versus facial recognition. Let's see how hard that is. Hold on.
Alex said me versus Ice. Ethan versus the Union.
It's just not working, y'all. We're in a bad spot today.
Y'all are putting me into rivalry, goddamn it. Did you hear that, Mike?
Ethan versus the French language.
Casey versus Ice.
La Resistance.
Jeff said Mike versus Michael Cole was his rivalry of the year.
You know the real feud? I got one for you. Casey versus Wrangler Jeans.
Goddamn right.
That's the truth.
We're going to finish on this one. We're going to move on because Alex said Cortland versus a condom.
Oh my god. Oh man. It's fine. Colby said in the chat, Matt Cardona answering a TNT title open challenge potentially. I'd be here for it.
With it being Cody being the champion, fucking have him say Cody never gave him a goddamn call back.
Breaking kayfabe here, brother. I didn't get a call back. I starved for a little bit. Yeah. So
we're doing worst. Real quick.
Yeah, we're going to worst moment of the year. I don't want to dive deep into these because mine is disgusting and it's bullshit.
Oh, you're doing the thing?
What thing?
Just say it.
Deep South.
IWA Deep South Carnage Cup. One of their guys cut his finger off for the match.
Yep.
Lost a digit.
Did he win?
I don't think he won. The piece of dog shit.
All I saw was his fucking hunky ass finger laying on the goddamn.
I'll take my finger off, but you gotta book me better.
Yeah, it's Blaine Evans cut John Rare's finger at the first digit off. With a pair of.
This is what I was just talking about moments ago. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's
it's disgusting.
Headline.
And there was like a fire in the ring. Well, it was a fucking mess. Don't watch it. It's horny outlaw mud show bullshit.
It's not even. It's bullshit. Anyways,
Cortland, what you got?
Worst moment of the year for me is Becky Lynch defeating Bianca Belair for the women's championship.
Yes.
No time.
Yes. I don't have to go any further into that. That is some bullshit.
Pat, I know you were ready to jump on it. Go ahead.
Did I just pull out a banger on you?
That was the worst moment of the year, bro. I had I mean, unless you count the other night, I don't know if you guys know, but Cody Rhodes is the TNT champion.
Oh, well, thanks for ruining the podcast, buddy. I appreciate that very much. Casey, what you got?
Honestly, like, how do you beat fucking either cutting off a finger or fucking ruining Bianca's time as champion in, 4.5 seconds?
I was truly upset because I was really excited about the surprise Becky return. I was like, oh, they're going to put on a fucking classic right here in front of us. I'm so glad I'm finally watching a WWE pay-per-view again. And then that happened. And Pat and I looked at each other and I said, yep, turn it off. And we
literally
haven't really watched it.
I haven't watched the WWE event since then. That was
just killed it, man. And like, I'm a Becky fan, but like that booking is just the shits.
Casey, you got anything that you wanted to toss in there? Or is that what you're rolling with? Is the Bianca Becky thing?
I don't want to say his fucking name because fuck that dude, but homie, the ref getting fucking stabbed in the goddamn head.
It's a bad moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a good moment either. Like,
what a piece of shit. Ethan, what you got, bud?
Mine's y'all definitely took the cake. Mine's not anywhere near as serious or quite as important. But my least favorite, as soon as you mentioned this, the first thing that I popped into my head, because 2021 ruled for wrestling, it's hard for me to find shit I didn't like outside of like outright stupid shit like the finger and the beating the ref's ass. And honestly, Becky beating Bianca after Bianca had a fucking amazing WrestleMania main event. But my least favorite thing was why the fuck did New Japan retire a 30-year-old IWGP heavyweight title and make a Divas Championship the World Championship?
Yeah, it looks like shit.
It looks like shit.
Bro, that better be coming back. I know they're doing like their championship unification at fucking Wrestle Kingdom, but for the love of Christ, the original belt better be coming back.
Dude,
it's
to me,
bad.
If you're gonna kind of not destroy a 30-year lineage, but say, all right, this is the end of this era, you better have something good. And doing it during a pandemic, or I don't think they planned that. Well, no, they did. Because it was 2021.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Terrible.
The big one in chat that almost everybody's agreeing with. Jeff said the botched exploding death match at AEW Revolution, the ending. That feels like it was a couple years ago. That's how long 2021's been.
I feel bad shitting on it.
In all fairness, did we all actually think that was going to turn out well on national?
I don't know why.
They wanted to. That's the thing. They wanted to, and they said that the pyrotechnics guys just didn't rig it up right, which is the funniest shit in the world. I'm like, Tony Khan, you have more money than you know what to do with. Hire the best guys in the world.
I'm not a fan of doing dry runs, but I feel like that could have been like a dry run. Like we tested out like the day before.
Blow the ring up the day before.
Do like an off-site.
You pieces of shit.
Get like an off-site ring to be like, okay, these are the same ones. It's rigged up the same way. Press it, it explodes. All right, cool. Now let's do it for real. Like
Hunter, being the masochist that he is, said he wanted it to explode. LOL.
I love that.
All right.
Back on track.
Back on track.
Time to get sad.
Glad that we busted those out. Pat, I'm proud of you for busting those out without any prior knowledge. You got through them. Let's see. Side note, Cortland, your niece saw you on my phone and waved at you. She's asleep now, but I figured you'd like that. Then we have Jeff saying Matt Tremont exploded himself better than AEW's show. LOL.
He was facing the King, though. He was facing Onita.
That's true. Yeah. Onita just trying to kill himself. Always. He's a wild human. All right, fellas. We're at moment of the year. And I'm going to tackle this one first. There's a couple different moments that I had, and I'm just going to touch base on those. Matt Cardona showing up as John Moxley in GCW after Nick Gage just tweeting bullshit like, Zack Ryder, just come to a show. I won't beat you up, but I promise. Like, just throwing bullshit out there, and then he's there is probably the funniest shit that could have happened this year.
Great.
And I genuinely thought that he was going to die then, and then when he won the title, I thought he was going to die then. For me, It's two moments, but really one sticks out. CM Punk's return to professional wrestling, AEW Rampage, the first dance. It was a secret that everybody knew. If you know me, CM Punk is the reason that I'm back into wrestling at the age that I'm at, right? He was kind of the guy that brought me back into professional wrestling because I was a guy like me. He grew up in like a hardcore punk scene, was straight edge. I was straight edge. It fucking worked out. That was a guy that made it that was similar to me, right? Seeing CM Punk's entrance to his first match back live at All Out was an emotionally driven moment for me. And I don't know why, dude. Emotions took over. I was crying like a bitch. My brother took a video of it. He then posts it on Facebook, and everybody sees me sobbing. I'm fucking sobbing. It's a doozy. That was for sure my moment of the year because that's something I never thought I'd see. And being in his hometown in Chicago, it was a moment that I will never forget.
Yes.
Ethan, pass it over to you, my friend.
I'm glad you passed it because I do have the same pick. Not as, with all the detail that you had. I was just going to pick just the CM Punk return. But I was there with Mike in Chicago for All Out, and I can attest Mike was crying like a bitch, standing side by side with me. And it's okay, but here's the difference. I didn't videotape his ass like his brother did.
He got my ass. See, there it is. Jeff in the chat. I have video of Mike crying. Fuck you, bud.
Don't do your man like that now. But anyway, the CM Punk return, hands down. Just like Mike, CM Punk's the reason I'm still into wrestling. CM Punk's the reason I went down this fucking independent wrestling and Japanese wrestling rabbit hole that my dumbass went down in high school. So him coming back was a lot. There's a lot of emotions, you know what I mean? CM Punk's more than just a favorite wrestler for me. It's almost like a piece of my life, you know what I mean? Because he shaped so much of myself as a wrestling fan. But what y'all laughing at?
I didn't say shit.
I'm fucking dying at the chat, but they're laughing at shit. But
Pat is always smiling. There's not a moment on this podcast that Pat's not smiling.
He's high as hell.
But just seeing him come back and everything, it really took me back. You know what I mean? And my dad watches wrestling also, and CM Punk was one of the first wrestlers we bonded over because he was always Stone Cold, Bret Hart, all this stuff. But as an adult, my dad really didn't like anything WWE because he's like, this shit sucks. It ain't good as it used to be. He still watched it every night. But CM Punk's one of those newer guys where he was like, oh, he's pretty good. And the next thing you know, my dad's like, what's Punk doing? He just super became a fan. So, my dad called me as soon as I was over at Mike's when it happened, too. That's another reason it's special. Me and Mike shared that moment together. We shared the moment in Chicago. It's just all around sentimental shit for me. So that's my moment of the year.
Big crybaby feels. It's fine.
I just want to say, as soon as you brought up your dad, all I could think about is last week when you're like, you woke up on Tuesday and you're like, your dad just tells you that fucking Kane set JR on fire.
Can you give us Bean's impression, please?
All right, y'all. So
just real quick.
Monday nights, he made me go to bed. You know what I mean? I had school. I was like, God, what was I in 2003? Fucking 7 years old. You know what I mean? So I have school and all this shit. Anyways, I always wake up the next morning. He'd either tell me or I'd just ask what happened last night. But this morning, I didn't ask. I just walked out of the bedroom, doing my eyes or whatever, and he said, hey, Bo, fucking JR's ass got lit on fire last night. I'm like, what? And he said, Kane's big ass. He lit his ass up. And then, yeah, dude.
For context, the first time I met his dad, he just is yelling at his dog. His dog's big as fuck. This dog is huge. His name's Hank. Stands taller than me, and he goes, kill that motherfucker, Hank, kill his ass, yelling across his fucking driveway. It was the funniest shit in the world. What a character. Casey, I'm just gonna drop it straight down to you, my friend, and we'll work our way over to Pat and Court.
So I thought I had one, and then I kind of thought of one like while we've been talking. So the one I led with was Bryan Danielson coming to AEW. It was one of those ones where it's like I always kind of thought he was just like once he got to WWE, that's just where it was gonna be. they were going to eventually push him into retirement and he was going to do some kind of bullshit on the side. I do technically know, because of my former profession, that he had been trying to be cleared medically for doing stuff in Japan. So like, I always kind of was like, either he was going to be all WWE or he's going to do some Japan shit, walk out after like a Wrestle Kingdom call it a day. So seeing him somewhere else just kind of was like, oh fuck, like, like this motherfucker's here. He's already said that like the contract he signed with AEW is the last one he's ever gonna sign. Like, so like we're kind of getting this really good shit out of him right now, and I feel like he's kind of lived up to that debut. We also got the wonderful Suzuki match with him, so that's always nice. And yeah, it's the end of the year. I can get a little sappy with it. I think my honorable mention is doing this with you fuckers. I think me and
at the heartstrings.
Me and Cortland have been talking about doing this for about like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And it just, mostly on my end, it just never worked, like, schedule-wise. I always have had, like, a lot of dumb shit going on. And so for us to be able to do this and then kind of what we've done and what we're gonna keep doing has been real nice. And, yeah. I don't want to keep it going too far because we all talk about it all the time, but I appreciate you fuckers. Man. I appreciate the fuckers that are in the chat right now. We all...
And it's important to know that it just started with you, Cortland and Pat, right?
Yes.
I kind of came in on a whim. Cortland called me one night and was like, hey, dude, you want to try that? Like, just try it, man. I'm not asking you to commit to it. Just try it. See how you feel about it. And I was super anxious because you and I had never spoken. And, dude, I tweeted about it today, actually. I said, dude, the fact that we've been in a group chat for years now, literal years, and we've never spoken, pisses me off, man. It pisses me off. The world was, like, not ready for you and I, and that's what it was. But and then Ethan comes along after the first week. I was like, yo, what about throwing Ethan on here doing a 5-man panel? Everybody was on board. Ethan was a little nervous about it. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, this was a blast. Like, let's do it. And it's really something I look forward to every week. So I absolutely love that pick. I should have saved you for last since you're being the crybaby ass baby ass bitch.
I just want to say before we move on, thank you guys for having me on here. I mean, I know we're all one now. Y'all did welcome me in last. And I know, Cortland had hit me up a while back and threw out the idea of doing a podcast or like being on one. And it's really hard to get me reeled into sticking with some stuff. And I'm glad I took this risk. I just get real antsy about committing to things. And, talking about something like wrestling, I'm opening them up, you know what I mean? And just, you guys welcome me right in. I really appreciate it. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Yes, love.
I have something to break. Once we get through y'all, I'm going to break some stuff here. So go ahead. Pat, let's start with you, my friend.
My moment of the year. I had CM Punk initially, like CM Punk's return. But what's better than CM Punk's return? CM Punk's first match. Yeah. What's better than CM Punk's first match? What's better than all this thing? The entirety of All Out is my moment of the year, except for Paul White and QT Marshall. Everything else.
It was placed perfectly because there was a lot on that card that was overwhelming, and it really did offer a solid break there.
Relax.
Yeah, take a big deep breath, you weirdos. Cortland, what you got?
My moment of the year is the end of All Out, and that is Adam Cole's debut. And he walks out, the whole crowd's losing their shit, thinking it's going to be Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega. The embrace in the ring, you get Kenny at the end doing his "I bid you farewell," and just before goodnight happens, you hear the infamous Bryan Danielson music, and it's the music that even if he was coming, right, even if the speculation was happening, the pop he got because the music was here and it was there in AEW was just as big as him showing up in the first place. Yeah. Him getting the music, it being that cool, the walk down to the ring, like the whole spectacle of it all was just amazing.
It was awesome. Real quick, I'll go over what's in the chat right now. Jordan is being ominous as fuck, saying that Cortland's going to appreciate his moment of the year. Feud of the year is All Out attendees versus Hoffman Estates Ubers.
Yes.
Infamous moment after All Out, right? After All Out. We get out of All Out. It's 5 of us, and we're looking for an Uber. Y'all, we started walking back to the hotel, which was like 5 miles away.
Up the interstate.
It was like 1:30 in the morning, and we couldn't find a fucking Uber. There was nobody in the area. We walk up on this random guy leaving Chipotle, his job, and we're like, yo, you have a truck. We'll give you $100 if you drive us down the road. 3 at a time.
Jesus
Boom, and then
Christ.
boom. Yep. We meet up with Colby and Kylie, right? They're sisters. They're walking to the same place we're walking to. And we're like, fuck it, we'll just walk together. It's sketchy down here, like, let's do it. We have this guy, his name's Steve. He drives 3 people. He drives Donnie, Liz, and Jeff to the hotel. He said he'll be back for us. So we're standing in this fucking Chipotle parking lot. Like, this dude could easily take this $100 and bolt after dropping the 3 off. This motherfucker Steve comes pulling back in and is the nicest human being in the world. And he's like, wow, guys, do you think I can make a lot of money doing this? I was like, motherfucker, there's like 1,000 people down the road that need help. I still don't know if he went back and helped people, but he certainly made $100 for 25 minutes of his time. Yes. Shout out to Steve on the podcast.
Black Bite number 6.
Black Bite, baby. What a mess. So that's the story of the Hoffman Estates Ubers after All Out. What a mess. GCW just announced.
Can I say one last thing about Steve? Just to fully wrap this up. When we got in that fucking vehicle, faintly playing on the radio was Thunder Kiss 65 by Rob Zombie.
That's true. That is true. That gives you everything you need to know about what Steve looked like.
Just rolling up to the parking lot.
It was sick, dude. It was fucking awesome. It was a long story.
Mike,
I was walking without shoes on. GCW.
You missed the moment of the
Kylie won. They were like, he's playing Rob Zombie, and I about fucking shot through the goddamn roof of that car, dude.
Who missed the moment of the year?
He had already put it in the chat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. It was Christian coming to AEW.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was for sure cool. It was one of those things that was speculated on like 100 different people, but it was always Christian, right? It always made sense. Mm-hmm. Awesome moment. It feels like that was last year too, man. This year's just been long.
A lot of love
for my peeps. Fuck Hulk Hogan. One of my peeps. This Saturday, GCW has Die for This. They are hosting a Do or Die Rumble. The winner will be crowned the #1 contender to the GCW World Championship as we head towards the Hammerstein Ballroom, which is on the 23rd of January in New York City at the legendary Hammerstein Ballroom. And their champion right now, if you didn't know, that's Jon Moxley. So hopefully some good news for Mox.
Isn't that where Joey Janela and Scotty 2 Hotty are supposed to wrestle?
That's this weekend. No, that's a Die for This.
That's the one coming up, though.
Yeah, they're not at Hammerstein.
How did I forget moment of the year is fucking is Scotty 2 Hotty announcing he's going to be on a GCW fucking...
What a fucking mess that is.
You pull out a bunch of ECW legends, and then your next match is fucking Scotty 2 Hotty.
Worming it.
Turn it up!
All right. Yo, don't get... Hey, I'm just saying, that one, the S2H that he has is the hardest fucking shirt, though.
It's a tough shirt.
It's hard.
It's for sure tough. Fellas, let's keep it moving, though.
Moving on.
We're moving on into promotion of the year. And again, this is a moment that I will take center stage first. My promotion of the year is Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. GCW in 2021 solidified itself as the 3rd promotion in professional wrestling. They had a fantastic run at the Collective during WrestleMania week in Tampa. They had 12 shows that they were running throughout the week. It was 4 shows a day over 3 days. It was crazy. Great turnouts there in the middle of downtown Tampa, outside in the middle of April. Absolutely cooking. I think I still have... I don't know if you'll see it. You can kind of faintly see a watch tan. It's fucked. Still, 8 months later. they brought in names like John Moxley, like Matt Cardona, and they brought in a new viewership to GCW. And then you started seeing their stuff sell out, right? They brought a lot of new faces, a lot of fresh faces there, while still catering to their original crowd, right?
Yeah.
They were able to showcase phenomenal professional wrestling matches, such as Jonathan Gresham versus Starboy Charlie at GCW Homecoming Night 2. They haven't strayed far from their deathmatch roots, though, delivering in some great matches. They brought over some guys from Japan like Drew Parker, a guy that won the GCW Ultraviolent title from Alex Colon, and that same weekend in Homecoming. It was actually that same night, I do believe, or it was night 1. GCW Homecoming Night 1, he won that match with the title in that match, which was awesome. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. They also brought over
Drew Parker took the belt over to Big Japan too, which is
he did.
Awesome.
They brought over Masashi Takeda, who won the GCW Ultraviolent Championship from Parker and BJW, and Rina Yamashita. 2022 is probably going to be a huge year, and it's another ceilingless year for this company, right? And their biggest thing that they're going to do, the biggest venture they're taking on, is going to be January 23rd, the Hammerstein Ballroom, the legendary one in New York City. This is a company that has established themselves with no backing, right? They have no corporate backing. They don't have any TV time. This is a company that is thriving by fucking staying DIY and doing their thing, man. And it's so cool to see, and it's hard to argue against GCW this year. Cortland, let's start with you, though.
I'm going to do the obvious and say AEW, but I'm sure other people have that. So I'm going to use my time to talk up Impact Wrestling. If you would have told me 5 years ago that Impact Wrestling would still be in the conversation in 2022 when there's two new bigger companies like AEW and GCW, I wouldn't have believed you. I think that Impact Wrestling has an amazing roster. They have amazing talent, and them being open to working with other companies like they have in the past with Japan, and them doing work with AEW only benefits everybody. I mean, they've had debuts like Alex talked about earlier. It's the inspiration, and like seeing them go there was such a cool thing for me. I was a huge fan of the Iconics in WWE, and seeing them get their flowers there. And I mean, like as soon as they showed up, they got them. It meant a lot to me. And I can't remember which one it was. It was probably the last one, the most recent TNA pay-per-view. I think it was Hard to Kill or
Hard to Kill.
Resurrection.
Hard to Kill is like this week, I think. But yeah, it was. I'd have to look it up. Exactly,
and
yeah.
It was probably the first Impact pay-per-view I had watched, probably like the better part of like 6 or 7 years. And dude, it sold me. I'm really hoping great things out of Impact for 2022, and I hope that next year when we do this, that I bring them up again, because like I said, there's so many great people over there that you can't look at that roster and tell me that's not great pro wrestling. There's unbelievable talent that definitely deserve it, and I hope that Impact just gets a little bit bigger of a crowd, change up your format just a little bit, and then you get we can really see something great.
I love it. Let's go over to let's bust Patty out. Let's get Pat out.
All right. We're on promotion, right? Anyways, promotion of the year. The obvious answer to me was AEW. This is honestly the first question I answered. But I will say this, and honestly, I kind of wish Mike would have went last. GCW has definitely. Well, if you're not paying attention, you need to fucking be paying attention, because shit is about to get crazy this year. It's like, for me, I was kind of reluctant about doing this podcast, period, because I'm not that experienced in independent wrestling. Just my knowledge isn't there. This year, I've grown a love for independent wrestling, and GCW's definitely helped that out a lot for me. It's just everything I watch from this company is just amazing, dude. Like, just glued to your seat. It literally makes me feel like a fucking kid discovering wrestling all over again.
And something I'll say about GCW, dude, the commentary.
Yes.
OG Kevin Gill, baby.
Yeah.
Great dude.
They get a pop out of me more than the fucking matches.
dude.
They're
And
just
you want
so unbelievable. He's like,
you want to talk a good
what a
dude
piece of fucking dirt. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, that
between shows at like in Tampa, Jeff and I went to get pizza and we stopped at like the 7-Eleven. And Kevin Gill's in there, and I didn't even fucking know. Like, I'm just chilling. And when we're walking back and we're just bullshitting, he has an H2O hat on. And he's like, yeah, dude, I didn't know you were straight edge. Like, I saw your X's on your legs, though. Like, that's super cool. Like, we just had a quick conversation about, like, hardcore punk, and it was, like, the nicest dude in the world, dude. So, Kevin Gill forever, man, for sure. He's a silly commentator, for sure. What a guy. Casey, let's jump over to you, my friend.
I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like there's like the obvious choice, and I'm gonna go with AEW because like it's the proof is in the pudding with that. Like they're putting out good shit. They're like we're still so early on, and I don't feel like there's a couple of things that there's like issues with Rampage being so late. And I'm hoping that like we can eventually figure out a better time slot for that. I know that they're moving to like TBS or whatever. So like I'm hoping that might help the time slot issues that they've been having. Cause like I know that they're trying their hardest, but then like when you look at it and it's like fucking 17 people watched because it's fucking late as shit, especially for y'all that are on the East Coast. But like, yeah, like they're doing great in my eyes. I feel like GCW should always get the nod. They fucking sold out the Hammerstein in like, I feel like almost
in pre-sales.
It was like instant. It was like they were like GCW Hammerstein tickets on sale, sold out. Never mind. Like, like yeah, it's and yeah, like it's just this got popped in the chat. It's only year 2 of AEW, and we're like fucking like one of the best pay-per-views ever. We're
and it's not the first time that people have said that one of AEW's pay-per-views are one of the greatest pay-per-views.
And that's the crazy thing about it.
It's not like this is like just a one-off, like, oh shit, this was great. Almost all of them just keep topping one another. And how far can you go, though?
I mean, as long as we don't try to explode rings anymore, I think we should be fine.
Dude, fuck it. Try it again.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is
it's a spectacle.
They've done so much this year that you forget about that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will just say, because I was a stickler on it on the Forgotten episode that we keep bringing up. Is
what happened there, Casey?
It's fucking delete button. As long as AEW stops doing fucking insert city street fight matches, as long as they stop doing that, I don't think they could do much wrong in my eyes. So
there's a Fresno County street fight.
I love that you said that in JR's voice. Like that's the only voice that can make that. By God, we got a slobber knocker on deck. We're in Reno, Nevada. We got a Reno street fight. It's awesome. I love it. Real quick, before we get over to Ethan, I know Ethan's chomping at the bit to tackle this one. They apparently love their time slot for Rampage. They're like crushing the numbers apparently that they were expected to do. So just some food for thought. I don't know.
I did not expect them to do great in numbers.
But, like it's doing fine. I think it could do better.
It's hard for you to get a rating off of me on Friday night.
I enjoy wrestling on Monday because you get BTE Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Like that's cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things where it's like I get that like if they're happy with it, then fine, fuck it, keep it. But like I feel like it could do better. Like it's just there's such a noticeable difference between Dynamite and Rampage just on the number side of things that like it could get closer.
But if you just look at it image-wise, like look at Hard Camera Rampage, look at Hard Camera Dynamite. Yeah. They're two completely different shows.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy so much about AEW is because with other companies, shows just feel like it's the same shit. It's the same look all the time. And it's just like that. Like the formula, you know? Yeah. But like Rampage is fast. I love fast wrestling. When you got to get it all in, because you got a small time slot. That's why I enjoyed Heat growing up, and I enjoyed Velocity. It's because, like, yeah, it's that B show, and it's only an hour long, but you get all this good shit in an hour, man.
Yeah.
And you get to just breathe it all in. There's not a whole lot of just spots for promos to drag or this to go over too long or for something else to outstay its welcome. It gets in, it gets its shit done, and it gets out. Yep. And if you're pulling just as good of numbers as your competitor is, and you're in that time slot, when you're past prime, you know what I mean? You're past the prime time slot of when people are watching. And they're pulling just same numbers or just shy of them. And Rampage has only been around for how long? This year, right?
4 months, right? Like not long.
4 months?
Maybe 6 at best. Yeah, it's not been long.
Yeah. And when you look at comparisons of like SmackDown's numbers, like, yeah, of course it's going to be higher. It's been around for 20 years. If it's not higher than that, this shouldn't be happening.
It's not even
it's on top.
A better
and it's on top.
They're on a better time slot.
But yeah, I don't even mean to like, I don't want them to change anything about it. I'm just like, I like the idea of it, and I feel like it could be even better if maybe just slightly earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, fuck it, they're still doing great, because yeah, once again, they're going right after SmackDown, and they're still pulling fucking hundreds of thousands of fucking people are watching it. So fuck it.
Yeah, and just real quick, I don't think it's really a B show, man. They've done a good job at making.
Yeah, that's why I quotated B show. You know.
Yeah.
Let's get
I think it's normal.
Let's get old Ethan in here. What was your
I'm here, buddy.
What's your promotion of the year, my man?
I mean, we're all beating around the same bush here. It's AEW, you know. I mean, I don't even really want to harp on it anymore because the proof's in the pudding. As who said it, Casey?
I did.
Okay, the proof's in the pudding, and I like pudding.
Can we clip that, please?
Well, yeah.
That needs to be the segment. It's just who got this one. Everybody voted pretty well unanimously. AEW. The proof is in the pudding. I like pudding. That's all I want on our socials. That's it.
Damn it. Why did that feel like a horny JR segment? I don't know.
It did. Oh man, 41.5 inches.
Oh, 41.5. God.
41.5 inches of pudding.
I want to throw in was on the GCW conversation. I'm really glad Mike picked them out. I just wanted to say what they've done is incredible. And as someone who's followed independent wrestling for probably 8 or 9 years and has went back and watched all the different eras of it, it's, you know, Mike showed me GCW, which is kind of crazy when I think, Mike, if you look in retrospect, you know what I mean? Like, I'd never watched GCW. Shown, yeah. Because, like, you know, everybody knows me. Oh, Ethan watches all kind of weird, random shit. But I had quit watching the indies around 2016 or 17 because I got tired of PWG because it was overkill. And then NXT became PWG. And then it's like, okay, I'm over this phase of styling, you know. ROH had their period of time. Then PWG took over. Now GCW is putting a whole nother spin on independent wrestling that's totally different than their predecessors. And I think that's why they're hitting it off so well. And because guys like Brett Lauderdale and Nick Gage and, you know, a lot of these names they're bringing are guys who've been around for every era of independent wrestling. They've been in CZW. They've been around ROH. You know what I mean? They've seen PWG not come and go because they're still around. But they saw PWG be the hot thing and what they did wrong. You know, Ricky Shane Page mentioned it in a YouTube one time. You know what I mean? They were asking him, you know, what led to GCW doing stories, you know, and they were just like, we wanted to try it because PWG, you know, I mean, they just started this trend of everything's a dream match. You know, here's a dream match, do a bunch of shit, and then everyone on the card does it, and then after a while, what does anything mean? You know, it doesn't really mean much. You know, in GCW, they push the limits, they innovate. You have people like Effie getting a platform. You know what I mean? You got, you know, the AJ Grays, you got the Nick Gages, people that wouldn't fit anywhere else, and they fit here, and they give them the chance to show themselves. And I think that says a lot for GCW.
Absolutely. Fellas, we're on to a fun one here. Really a fun run at this point. As you guys are seeing on Twitter, we're really at the meat and potatoes of this pod, the heavy stuff.
Time
to eat. These were all appetizers, buddy. Casey, I'm gonna start with you as you go to yawn. I see it in your face. What is your who is your most overrated wrestler of 2021 or most overrated moment of 2021?
Can I skip this?
No, absolutely not.
Can't, but it's hard.
Overrated. So
I know you got it written down.
We had all talked about this individually after an episode. It's not a who. It's not a. It's not a when.
The same answer, Casey.
It's a fucking what, and it is the collective NXT universe.
Oh, never mind.
Nope. The fucking ain't. It ain't the Young Bucks. It ain't none of that shit. It's all of fucking NXT. I'm not going to spoil anything, but a couple of things that I had to watch for some of the later things that we have involved watching NXTs.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Just so you know, none of those had volume on them because the crowd wouldn't shut the fuck up, and it was the most distracting, painful shit I had to sit through. On top of the fact that their current commentating team is fucking dog shit. It's bad.
Who's commentating down there?
For one of them, it was.
I got you. You're fine.
I think it was like Beth Phoenix, fucking Wade Barrett, and someone else. I don't fucking know.
Tom Phillips? Who is it?
It wasn't Tom, because I think I would have actually enjoyed it if it was Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know. Man,
don't be saying no bad stuff about Tom Phillips.
Nothing about Tom.
Fuck NXT.
It was one of those things where it's like, obviously, like the OG NXT, nothing can go wrong. Like Black and Gold shit that happened. There's some great shit that happened after Corey Graves is no longer on commentating because fuck Corey Graves. But like the current shit that they're doing, we're going
so
all
mad
over the board, bro. Fuck Corey Graves
so
still
angry
to this fucking day. But like it's like, do you have like the whole thing we brought up a while ago? Like Izzy and her stupid fucking family and her fucking little cronies are like causing heat for like wrestlers because they didn't like her wrestling at fucking 10 years old. Like they're chanting dumb shit. Like it.
I had to mute for a minute.
The whole thing about NXT 2.0 is fucking terrible. Like it's
stupid.
All of it. Like I'm fucking over it. I hate that like they ruined something that was so. I understand that there was a dead horse. There was a formula that happened that was kind of broken, but like you could have fucking fixed it. And instead, you give it the Thunderdome, then you give it the fucking whole new revamped way of doing shit.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it's like Nickelodeon meets fucking NXT. And then
shut it down.
There's like this is the most nitpicky fucking shit. But a couple of the matches I watched has everyone that's coming into like the Walter match, for example. I'll fucking spoil it. I love that fucking match. But like watching Walter walk through the back of like Gorilla to then get to the stairs, but then it has like the sound as if like a cage is coming down. Like really nitpicky shit here, guys. But like it's fucking stupid because they did it for every match. I don't want to watch them walk out. I want it to be like, here's like promo package, lights go down, fucking Walter standing out there. It's fucking stupid shit. But ultimately, fuck NXT. I'm over it.
Okay.
All right. Hey man, right. I'll back you hard.
Tired.
Such a rant.
I agree.
Yes.
Tired now.
Oh fuck.
I'm gonna let it breathe.
It was Vic Joseph.
Yeah, Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph. Yeah.
Pat, I see you. This is the first time I haven't seen you today.
Smile.
We're gonna pass it over to you, my friend. You look disgruntled at this point.
Nah, I just don't know how this is gonna go.
I am excited.
My most overrated wrestler, easily. It's crazy how I didn't, because it's not easy and it's literally the wrong answer. It's not right. Darby Allen is my overrated wrestler. Let me tell you something, man. And I'm not trying to take away from the man's ability. I'm just a man. And I watch this from a man's perspective. And Darby Allen to me is a crash dummy. He's a fucking stunt, fucking double. The man can wrestle. He can wrestle. And he just makes compelling matches. But about 5-10 minutes into these compelling matches, it just turns into, how can I fucking kill myself? And I it's entertaining, but it's not entertaining. It's honestly scary to watch sometimes. Half the time I'm watching Darby Allen matches, like, I really hope this shit goes well. I really hope this man survives this because this shit's not cool. Is it right for me to say that he's the most overrated wrestler in the world? No, it's not. But this is my opinion. It doesn't really matter. So there you go.
I loved it. I love the answer. I love the answer for sure. Oh man, I love how as we go down the line, people just start to look disgruntled because they realize they're up. I watched Cortland go, huh.
Because okay, so before Cortland goes, everything else that we've said before this, everyone's been like, yeah, that makes sense. But like now, like everyone potentially opinions. You're gonna have to fight for this shit, and like. It's funny, but also just like you might say something where everyone's like, well, this is the end of the podcast because everyone's going to cancel us. Like, I'm sorry, Cortland, your time to shine.
I wish it was a different answer. And maybe I'm wrong. It's just my opinion. I think that the most overrated wrestler this year is Hangman Adam Page.
Here it is. It's over.
You see what I just said?
Cortland knew it was the end. Court was like, "Why didn't you save me to the last? Why didn't you do it?" Go ahead, Court.
I just want to say,
speak your piece.
I did not know that he was about to say that, so me saying what I just said into that is perfect.
It's not that I'm completely against Adam Page. I enjoy some of his matches. The 60-minute he had with Bryan Danielson is one of the best matches of the year. I'm not denying his ability. Stamina is close second to none. But for me, as a wrestling fan, Adam Page doesn't have a lot for me. I don't find myself wanting to watch if they printed a Hangman Adam Page DVD of his best matches, I'm not buying it.
Oh, see? Pause real quick, Cortland. Look at Ethan's face right now and tell me I didn't hit the nail on the head. Look at how disgruntled people are getting because it's passing down the line.
You know what this has done? You know what this has done? I'm going to let you finish.
I don't want to hear about Shawn Michaels today, please.
No, we're not talking about Shawn Michaels. This is about Cortland and me and a couple other people. I respect you and your opinion, but I just want you to know you're fueling mine.
No. So watch. So wait. I want to go. I'm gonna gloss through this really fast. So I had said fuck NXT, and you got a bunch of ha-has, fuck them, like yeah, it's fucking stupid, and then you get fucking
Pat with Darby Allen, and everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, yeah, he fucking kills himself. It's not cool. Like we shouldn't be proving that. And then you literally have Cortland, I disown you. Shut the hell up. You hurt my soul. How dare you? Little brother for sale.
You have one big whoa.
Hey man, and like I said, it's not like I'm completely against it. It's not for me. I wish that I enjoyed it more. I enjoy the stuff that's been done with Dark Order. I think the storytelling with that has been really good. But like whenever I knew that Heyman was gonna get the belt, I knew Kenny was dropping it. It was obvious that it needed to happen. He needed time to heal. But I still wished it would have been Bryan Danielson. And I stick to that. I wanted that match. I wanted it at that pay-per-view. I wanted it then. And just because it took you 2 years to get here doesn't mean I still don't want it. I just still don't want it.
Oh, man. Oh, the chat is going wild with Ethan right now.
The reason I started laughing wasn't at what you were saying. I just read Jeff say, oh, Ethan's going to drop the bomb.
We had Alex say, it's scaring me how quiet Ethan has been. Hunter said, Cortland, you enjoy making controversial statements.
It's funny because I've been sassy in the group chat all fucking day, and I was like, I will chose violence. Fucking Cortland was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to start a goddamn riot.
Cortland just straight up just dropped it. Boop. Here's the thing.
Bad publicity, baby. Unless you're like Sammy Guevara.
Casey chose violence in a private message when I asked for the up and over YouTube stuff. He was just like, nah, I don't want to.
I don't want to
do it. Ethan, the time has come to bestow you the floor, my friend.
I really don't like this position I've been put in.
Can it be worse than that?
I feel like I know where it's coming.
That's the thing. That's the part of it that's hard. Is am I going to be able to live up to what just got put on the floor?
Maybe.
I feel like I got to come out swinging. I didn't plan on coming out swinging with this one.
This is your time to cut a promo like you've never cut one before, son.
Listen, son. So, I do not like this. I don't like talking negatively about wrestling. I know I bitch a lot about Bobby Fish. I know I talk a lot of shit in private about various people to mine.
Yo, why you
What? What's wrong with you?
He just doesn't understand your hatred to Bobby Fish.
There's a couple people on my hatred list that I keep private because I don't want debates on this podcast every week. My pick for this, I teetered between two people. I thought about picking their feud because it's sucking ass right about now. I'm going to go ahead and pick both of them. And not as a feud. I'm not going to play nice. I'm going to pick them both as singles. MJF, CM Punk. I knew you were the most overrated. So let me tell you why. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Let's go!
We spent 20 and 25 minutes on a Dynamite watching these grown-ass men perform lines they rehearsed 10 minutes before they stepped out the curtain. My jealous fan. Blah, 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 blah. And then AEW uploads a video, the greatest promo fucking extravaganza of all time.
Brought to you by Stacker 2.
Bud. Dude. The greatest promo extravaganza. You had CM Punk, the man who cut good promos 10 years ago. I love you, Punk. You're my favorite man in the world. I'm sorry. And then you got MJF. MJF, buddy. Listen, I get it. You're a smart ass, and you're good at being a smart ass, and you scrunch your lips up, and you scrunch your eyes up, and you turn your head sideways, and you say all kind of mean shit. Somebody's dad died, you're gonna mention it. Somebody's fucking child got aborted. Whatever you're gonna fucking mention, you're gonna go off on your tangent, and you're gonna say it 5 times, and you're gonna yell it, and you're gonna have all these snarky comments you wrote down throughout the week at somebody that made you mad on the street, and they're gonna give you 20 minutes to do it. But if we're talking about self-indulgent, delete that fucking segment. Fuck MJF versus CM Punk. I don't want to see this go into 2022, but I'm going to have to watch it because they both love hearing themselves talk.
I will say on that, I think that in that still, MJF buried the fuck out of CM Punk in that promo because everybody wants the CM Punk from, the other company. Everybody wants that WWE CM Punk against the Authority, but now he's the fucking blue chip of a company and no one gives a shit. It's like, yeah, you cut a pipe bomb because you were mad, but now you're happy. I don't give a shit that you're happy. I hate to say that I'd rather you be sore and upset than happy and healthy. Like, I'm sorry. But like what you have done so far is reason why CM Punk's debut is not my moment of the year. Because I know the outcome of his debut is not so moment of the year.
God, that was rough.
Yo, say that.
Sorry.
I just want everyone to know, so the background and technical side of things is that YouTube has a natural delay. And so Alex wrote in the chat that I just want you to know how much the anticipation was killing her because she could hear Cortland and Pat scream, but did not know why. Because it's about like a 10-second delay.
Yeah, I would say right about 10 seconds. Well, guys.
Mike
This
sounds
has been
like
fun.
talking to Stacey's measure. Right about 10 seconds.
41 and a half inches. Oh, dude.
I gotta take some Advil.
I was like, I gotta get a water now.
It's fine. I'll be the cool down because there's no way that people don't agree here, and it's okay, right? I'm not hating on the guy because he's done a lot, right? He's done a lot, especially for this company, right? He's done a lot. But Ethan, you use the term self-indulgent.
Oh yeah.
And if we're going to talk about self-indulgence, fellas, we're going to talk about one man
Hit me.
The heir apparent to Sir Dusty Rhodes. That is Cody Rhodes himself. You want to talk about self-indulgence?
He loves
Cody
himself.
Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the epitome of self-indulgence. Moves to TNT, gets his own show, Rhodes to the Top. Comes out, 3-time TNT champion. Can't just end a feud with him taking a loss. He has to beat everybody, right? You want to talk self-indulgence? Man, you could say Cody's a champion at the end of 2021. Mazel tov, buddy. I don't know if you knew this. We're watching guys wrestle, right? Like, that's what we're doing. All of this shit, we're not dumb, right? We know that this shit is pre-planned. Let's call it what it is. Here's the thing. Cody has a lot of say here, and he just refuses to put people over. If it would even lessen him slightly to bring somebody up to star like potential, he won't do it. And if we're going to talk most overrated, I don't know how I made it through 4 of y'all and we didn't get Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes is the most self-indulgent motherfucker in AEW.
Yeah.
Yes,
Agreed.
he is.
I thought it was the obvious answer, so that's why I did
To
it.
put it to piggyback though, there was 3 shows total. So he had he had like his own fucking like America's Got Talent fucking show.
Yeah.
Then he's got his
The Go
own
Big
show. Yeah. Then he's got his fucking show where it's like
How
the
you
Real
gonna have a show
Housewives.
called Go Big Show and not even have Paul White in it?
Bro, how are you going to have Snoop Dogg remix your song and it sucks ass cheeks?
You know what I
did you
love,
guys
though?
see? Did you guys see his like Killer Mike spot? Was it Killer Mike? No, it's T-Pain. Did you guys see his T-Pain spot from a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
Here's the thing that I love about Cody, though, is he loves himself so much that he thinks this shit's cool as fuck. Like, when he came out there with Snoop Dogg, he's like, you hear that snare?
Also,
Yeah,
just
snare.
like it's already been joked about and shit like that, but like we're also talking about a grown ass man that has like a fucking gigantic neck tattoo of his own brand that fucking it looks like a fucking like Optimus Prime logo. Like
Listen.
Dude, I never met, oh my God. Cody Rhodes is such a weird motherfucker, man. He's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Mike, what's
Like,
the chat saying?
well, real quick, less Cody Rhodes, more of Cody's dog Pharaoh. That's what I'd say about AEW. You want ratings, motherfucker? You bring that pretty ass dog on there. Watch the ratings go.
it's a lot.
We have the chat saying, "Fuck Cody, I'll scream it forever." Yes, Mike Waiter, unite us all at the end. I like Cody, but I gotta agree. All right, well, block him, ban him from this fucking bullshit shit. Get him out of here. Yeah, it's just shitty neck tat. 4 different shows on the same network. There's a myriad of comments here. But I mean, this is the easy answer that we were for sure going to overlook, right?
We had a very rocky, controversial midway segment there, and then as Alex put it so eloquently, way to unite us all at the end. Fuck Cody forever.
Yeah. Man, I mean, Casey goes NXT. Yeah. Pat goes Darby. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Hangman Page. What the fuck?
Jesus.
That moves us into the next
Christ.
segment, fellas, which is most underrated. Moment, company, brand, performer, whatever you want to say.
I want to go
And-
first.
We're going to follow the same path, my friend. I feel like we've, because boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to the rockiness when it comes to Cortland and Ethan again. But go ahead, Casey.
I want to go first.
Dive in.
I want to go first because Cartland fucking made me mad.
He said Cartland.
Cartland made me mad. Cartland stole my goddamn answer for this.
For underrated?
No, you put it into your promotion of the fucking year. Because I had talked about this to all you separately.
Oh, you did.
And I'm going to say it again. My underrated is fucking Impact Wrestling. And unfortunately, the son of a bitch hit all the goddamn marks on the reasons why I thought it. So I
didn't even know, just I forgot.
I have a different one.
I love that your mic cut out while you were yelling
Fuck
about
it.
that.
I don't give a shit. I have
I
one
hope it
other
didn't cut out on
reason.
this side.
I don't think it did. Discord's
That's
being
so
a bitch.
funny.
I have one other reason why they are very underappreciated, I feel. and it's they decided to put Slammiversary on a 2 VHS collector set, and I bought the son bitch.
I want that.
It's sold out immediately.
That is badass.
It is a 2 VHS collector's edition, and I was like, it's 2021. This is this year's Slammiversary. This is the greatest.
So sick.
This is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen. You've got like, you've got pizza cutters for merch. You got ski masks, but you have a fucking VHS in 2021, dude.
You just straight up did this. This is what I saw. Not only were they underrated, but they just so happened to just like the product placement was so, it was just like, anyway,
bro,
they
it's
did
been
this
sitting on my desk since I bought it.
Now look,
Just made me laugh.
I just need y'all to know that I never in my life thought I would see in one corner of my screen Bam Bam Bigelow holding a TNA VHS tape and Mike Klinsky in a ski mask sipping water out of a medicine.
Colby said, perfect answer, end the show here.
All right. That's what y'all want.
Sorry to tell you, we have a little bit to go.
A few more.
I like the answer. Pat, we're just driving the boat, like bus right over to you, bud.
Look, man, don't kill me for this answer, bro. Please.
Who?
Don't kill me for this answer.
Are you talking to me specifically?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, all you guys. My underrated wrestler of the year is Thunder Rosa. I believe she deserves it. I don't even really know if she's the most underrated wrestler of the year. I just felt like she needed to be talked about on this podcast tonight. I feel like she deserves her fucking flowers, and she doesn't get them enough.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Old Thunder Rosa. Oh, here we go. We're back at the
precipice.
We're on a dirt road now, buddy.
What the fuck is that?
It's a rough ride from here on out. Here we go. We're gonna jump in with Cortland. Who you got there, bud?
I'm gonna piggyback off of Pat. I think that my female woman of the year as underrated is Thunder Rosa.
Okay.
But I'll also want to add in my male underrated wrestler of the year is Buddy Matthews. And I hope I see him in a bigger promotion soon. I've always enjoyed his work. If you've listened here, you obviously know that. I hope bigger and better things for him in 2022.
Yo, Buddy Matthews, if you're looking for a manager, I don't know anybody that advocates more for you than this man right here.
That's the truth. Hunter in the chat screaming about Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter right now.
Yeah.
Ethan, we're at you, my friend.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Hunter mentioning Jamie Hayter. I love that. I love Jamie. But now the grand finale, me. Everybody probably
there's still me, but it's okay. It's no big deal.
Oh, fuck. See, I thought I was in a feud with Cortland. And
no. It's okay. I'm when the waiter walks up after you eat a huge meal and is like dessert, and you can't say no. That's all it is. I'll take my
most
my spot
underrated of the year is Mike's opinion.
Mike's opinion. Come back from a 10-8 round. This is terrible.
God. But I'm sure everyone probably expected me to pick somebody obscure, so I did. My most underrated of the year is Speedball Mike Bailey. The reason I'm picking him is a similar reason to why Cortland picked Buddy Matthews. For those who don't know, Speedball, he's obviously an independent wrestler, but he's been around a while. He's a Canadian wrestler. He came up with He didn't come up with Kevin Steen and Generico, but when Kevin Steen was still working Canadian Indies, he was tag team champion with Kevin Steen in C4. He wrestled Brody Lee over there. Fuck Michael Elgin, but he wrestled Michael Elgin. He was wrestling a lot of big names on the Canadian scene, like around 2014, 2015. When I was heavy into the Indies, he got me into the Canadian Indies just because he was underrated then. But then he broke into the U.S., no pun intended because of what I'm about to tell you. Mike knows. He came into the U.S. Indies through CZW. He worked Evolve. He broke into PWG, worked highly acclaimed matches against Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Trevor Lee. Like, he was literally on the fast track to following all those guys. You know what I mean? I fully believe if what I'm about to say didn't happen, Mike Bailey would have already come and gone through NXT. But in 2016, Mike Bailey was coming to the U.S. for an Evolve show and got arrested and banned from the U.S. for 5 years. So, ever since then, and now for those who don't know, Speedball is, it's going to sound corny when I try and explain his gimmick, but he wears a, what's it called, Mike, when you do karate? I'm a redneck, so
like a gi. He wears like a gi.
Yes, he wears that to the ring. He's a Taekwondo-inspired wrestler. He's a smaller guy, but I'll get to him later in his style and all. But basically, he kind of got obscure 2016 to 2021. He went over to Japan and worked DDT. He would work still like the British independent scene. But ultimately, being banned from the U.S. kind of made him fall off the map. And it really sucks because he was on the fast track, like I said, to following Trevor Lee and all those guys. And the reason I'm picking him is the fact that he became a free agent this year and was allowed back in the U.S. in March of 2021, and no major company fucking batted an eye towards him until November when Impact Wrestling has, I don't know if y'all know, but Impact Wrestling has signed him thanks to Josh Alexander. But Mike Bailey is somebody that I'm really high on. With independent wrestling, you have a lot of guys, like I'm going to mention Tony Nese. I'm not going on a rant about Tony Nese, but you have these guys who work that house independent style. You know what I mean? They can do this stuff. But to me, with Mike Bailey, he's someone who does stuff way differently. You know, you're not going to see him do a moonsault that's just a moonsault. You're not going to see him. First off, the man wrestles barefoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very unique style. He's very Taekwondo based, and I really believe he has so much more to offer than what he's been given. Largely due to him being banned. You know, that's the biggest part of it. And now it's kind of like he's just having to earn his reputation back. And I think 2022, Mike Bailey and Impact Wrestling, we'll be talking about him on next year's year-end awards. So that's my pick.
I love that.
Okay.
Before I get into mine, Alex is in the chat. She said, hot take, Ricochet is underrated and gets shitted on. And I hope he goes somewhere else, preferably as Prince Puma, and gets the glory he deserves. I responded, I can't wait to tell Ethan this. He's a Ricochet lover.
Ricochet, man. Yeah. Miss you, buddy, even though you're a dumbass.
A literal moron of a human.
Ricochet hangs out with Chase and Rance, a fucking sex offender. So, Ricochet, you're fucking stupid. I'm glad you're a great wrestler, but goddamn, dude. Fuck Chase and Rance. Fuck anybody who fucks with him. Anyway.
Matt Cusack in the chat. Matt Cusack in the chat. Fuck Bobby Fish. He's a bitch.
my dude Matt over here fucking came in hot and swinging. Just...
All right, fuckers. Here's your dessert. Your dessert is going to be served with 2 words: murder, grandpa. Your most underrated wrestler of the year is old man Minoru Suzuki. Let's talk about Suzuki's 2021, just for a quick, brief minute.
Hold on. Hold the fuck on. He is a goddamn god. I don't feel like he should ever even be considered to be underrated because he is fucking old as shit.
Can we talk about his year, though?
Yes.
Right? The run in New Japan. He comes to the States, is wrestling indies, wrestled a Carolina indie called PWX, right? Busted it down. Wrestles for West Coast Pro. Goes on to GCW, tears that down. Wrestles AEW Rampage against Bryan Danielson. Tears that the fuck down. Goes on and wrestles...
It was a pre-show.
On a pre-show on YouTube, right?
Pre-show.
Yeah.
Goes on and goes on a fucking, a tear, and, he wrestled in Impact Wrestling. Then he also, again, had a match against Nick Gage, which spilled to the outside, had a good time there. You had him wrestling with Lance Archer against, Eddie Kingston and John Moxley at the biggest event that AEW's ever done. If we're going to talk underrated, I don't care how much love Minoru Suzuki gets. His 2021 run through a pandemic, leaving a continent that is locked down and coming over here and tearing it the fuck down, nobody else did it better.
Yeah.
Minoru Suzuki is God.
At the age he's at, and he is fucking having this dude's been doing this shit since fucking forever.
He's having, in my opinion, the year of his career.
It's fucking...
In my opinion, to me. I mean, he's just showing out everywhere he goes, and it's not about the win-loss record and whatever company he's in. He's putting over dudes that they're trying to make the center point of companies to build with. And that's one of those guys that you can bring in, has that credibility, can put that guy over, make him look like $1,000. And when he leaves, it's important that he's gone. And when he comes back, it'll be even more important that he came back. So huge up Suzuki, always.
We had Colby say before she signs off, she said she's going to sleep. Sending some love to all of us. Also, Sean Spears is... Oh my God, my lights. What the fuck just happened? Well, I gotta go, y'all. I guess Minoru Suzuki showed up. He's ready to kill my ass. Sean Spears is the top and most underrated butt of the millennium.
Huh?
Sean, the chairman Spears.
Colby.
It's all good. I respect you. Whatever.
Y'all ready for sleeper matches?
I like his beanies.
It was okay, right? But yeah, I mean, I think we all had pretty decent picks there. I don't know why I didn't correlate Buddy Matthews to Cortland. It should have just made all the sense in the world, and I didn't compute it properly. That's my bad. We're on the sleeper match of the year, and I'm gonna start the other way. I know Cortland's chomping at the fucking bit, so I'm gonna get Cortland up there as soon as I can. But let's start with Ethan. Let's tackle Ethan's real quick. Bust into it, bud.
This was another tough one for me because the match I'm picking, I gave 5 stars. The match I'm picking, I've already talked to all y'all about. But we don't talk about a lot of Japanese wrestling on here. So to me, I feel like it is a sleeper. Shingo Takagi challenging Will Ospreay for the IWGP Heavyweight title on May 4th, 2021 at New Japan's Wrestling Dante. Their series of matches I could go on and on about, but I'm not going to take too much of y'all's time. But they started their series of matches in the 2019 Best of Super Juniors, and it was all stemmed around Ospreay about to be moving up to a heavyweight, and Shingo coming into New Japan. Shingo came from Dragon Gate, and Dragon Gate doesn't have weight classes, but Shingo was a bigger guy for over there. Dragon Gate's nothing but Ricochet type guys flying around. It's Shima's old company. And so when he came to New Japan, everyone was shocked because Japanese promotions, they're really loyal to one another. So seeing Shingo jump from Dragon Gate to New Japan, a lot of people were shocked, but people were more shocked when they made him a junior because he was always the heavyweight style guy in Dragon Gate. So when he showed up here, he ended up being a junior. And so seeing Shingo and Ospreay kind of be those guys who are juniors, but they're about to be heavyweight stars. And they made it to the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors. Another match I gave 5 stars. Meltzer gave 5.5 or something fucking crazy. But basically, they've had 3 or 4 matches now. And, for them to have started in the finals of a junior heavyweight tournament, and then at this match, they end up in the fucking biggest match you can in the heavyweight division, just seeing them go, the progression of that story is, okay, these guys are the best juniors in the world. No, now they're the best heavyweights in the world. And they know that they've been neck and neck for forever, you know what I mean? And now Shingo's been wrestling longer than Will Ospreay has. Shingo's been one of the best wrestlers in the world for 10 years and never gets his due. And he's in here having to prove himself to this, young kid who's a cocky motherfucker. It's just, the story writes itself. They went 45 minutes. I went 5 stars. Crazy Uncle Dave went 6. And, but anyways.
Uncle Dave. Look at Cortland, immediately upset when Dave Meltzer's mentioned. I
just dog shit now.
The smile melt. I watch him just go,
And before we move on, I just had 2 little honorable mentions I wanted to mention. The first one being Minoru Suzuki versus Homicide at GCW's Get Lost a Lot in Queens. Me and Mike witnessed that live. Just being able to see Homicide live and see Homicide in his element as what he is, a main event fucking pro wrestler, go in and go with Suzuki. I don't think I even anticipated how big of a fucking fight feel that it was going to have. I mean, Brett Lauderdale and all the GCW guys came out on the stage to watch the fight.
It was literally a locker room sellout, right? Crazy.
Dude, they went fucking ape shit. And then another one I wanted to mention is another obscure one, but I just want to shout it out because DDT has been doing a lot of insane shit this year. And Harashima and Yuji Okabayashi had a fucking great 30-minute draw during the DDT Grand Prix on November 21st. It's one a lot of people are shouting out on Twitter as their match of the year. I went 4.5 on it, but that's something to check out if you're looking for something. So, who's next?
I love it. We're gonna drop right down to Big Papa C. We're gonna go with Cortland.
My sleeper match of the year is Walter and Dragunov at NXT TakeOver 36. I think that is an absolutely phenomenal match. If you have not seen it, I understand why you wouldn't want to watch any AEW programming. However, this TakeOver is right before this 2.0. And this is kind of like the last one. And they did this match previously, but they did it at the NXT UK venue with no fans. And it was so good that they knew they had to do it and run it back in front of fans. This match is 5 stars for me. It's one I've watched back several times, and I can't say enough great things about it. It's just 2 dudes that just beat the absolute shit out of each other for a long period of time. And it sells you on both guys, the unbelievable athletes, what they can put their bodies through, and the trust that they had in one another to pull this off to the capacity. And I can't say enough great things about it. That is my sleeper, but I do think I have one more.
Yeah.
But it was Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki was my other sleeper match of the year. It's phenomenal. I feel like it doesn't get its flowers due to it being on a buy-in. Like I said it a minute ago. Both guys just fucking amazing. And I could watch that one back over and over again, and I'll probably find something new I like about it. So those are my sleepers.
I love it. We're going to bounce over to Pat.
All right. So the one I chose. All right, cool. Look, so I kind of went different with this. My sleeper match is based off of strictly a personal opinion and a personal experience. I got Jericho and Nick Gage Dynamite.
Yes.
I was
what
there.
A cool moment.
We were all there. And I don't know if it was just me being high as shit, drunk as hell, seeing Mike for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. Like, it was just a hype-ass day. I was wearing overalls. It was just a hype-ass day. And that was a fucking shit show, a spectacle. Everybody in that room was losing their fucking minds.
He was so pumped. He lost my Hall of Fame.
I was going to say it. Lost the Hall of Fame ring. In line. How?
I lost it in line. How? Who knows? It's gone. But the whole entire... It's just amazing, dude. Like, that was just such a sick experience for me. If I had to pick a match unbiasedly, I think I would go with Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Was it Dynamite? Yeah, that
30-minute draw.
Fucking amazing match. Bryan Danielson. We'll get on to Bryan Danielson later on when we got other questions going. But this man is just the fucking man.
God, a god. Casey, Bam Bam, whatever you want to call yourself down there.
All the things.
How was wrestling Lawrence Taylor, real quick, just out of curiosity?
I mean,
hey, did they put pads under the stage at Heat Wave, or did you take that shit as a shoot?
Yeah.
Shoot, brother.
Were you the one that sent Hook?
I'm so excited for him to turn on his dad and find out he's actually my son the whole time.
Oh my god. Well, this just took a weird turn. Thanks.
So my honorable mention, at first it was my sleeper match, and that's because Cortland turned me on to it being an option, was the Walter Dragunov match. And then I started kind of still going through because I was having a hard time with my match of the year. So I ended up going through like a huge list of like really high rated matches, and I picked out a couple that I didn't even really hear about. And weirdly enough, it's also from NXT. It's fucking, and we've kind of talked about one of these people before. I'm not a huge Johnny Gargano fan. Kind of gotten over him. But him versus Kushida at fucking NXT Vengeance Day.
Yep.
Once again, I watched that on mute. I had no audio whatsoever. It is unquestionably one of the best fucking matches I've ever seen on a takeover. And it's for like it's like a 20-minute long match, and by God, those motherfuckers went all out for it. Like it is. I hate what they've done to Kushida. I hate his fucking Back to the Future gimmick.
Yep.
But like, good Lord, I have to give Gargano credit where credit is due. Like that match is just unbelievable.
That was Gargano's best match in a while. I remember I watched because I love Kushida, and I heard some people be like, "Oh, this match is really good." So I actually took the time to watch it like a day or two after it happened, and I went 4.5 on the fucker. I loved it.
Yeah, I think like I looked at a handful of like lists and like, you know, even fucking good old Meltzer, like he fucking still rated, I think, like up in the 5s, like around 5 at least.
Yeah,
he went high. To be just for North American, like it's up there. So fuck it. Like I dug it. I'm really scared of why he's smiling so much up there. But like,
I'm watching Ethan lotion his legs as you're talking.
That's what I'm doing, baby. Look.
I saw Pat and Corlin both smiling too, and I was like, they see it too. Vanilla Bean Noel. Yes,
I do.
Buddy, I like to smell good and feel lathered up, son.
We've been live. We've been live for
Jeff
just over.
Jeff actually said, "What the fuck are you doing, Ethan?"
And remember, y'all, I'm in my drawers.
I was about to say, we've been live for about 2 hours now, and I don't know if everyone's remembered, but Ethan's not wearing pants currently. And so I'm talking about fucking Kushida and Gargano, and he is just lathering himself up.
Is it my go?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Have we hit this point? All right, fellas, I'm going to take you back to New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 15 from January 5th. This is night 2 at the Tokyo Dome. He had 7,800 people in attendance, and I'm going with Shingo Takagi defending the Never Openweight Championship against Jeffrey Cobb. Man, I will tell you what. This match...
Top tier.
They beat the shit out of each other in this match. It starts with them exchanging stiff forearm strikes. It devolves in a shoulder tackle battle, and it never really slows down from there. There's a moment where Jeff Cobb, and the camera angle is like if you're on your knees holding the camera up on essentially the entrance ramp. Jeff Cobb has Shingo up for a razor's edge and is about to fucking powerbomb him to the outside from the apron. I'd had me on the edge of my seat from that moment onward. It was 21 minutes and some change, and this fucking ruled. It was violent as hell, super stiff, really snug. If you're into just that Puro kind of style, if you're into that strong style kind of like New Japan style there, you're gonna fucking love this match. I rewatched it because I was actually going to watch what the fuck's the main event that night?
Jay White and Kota Ibushi.
It was, yeah, and I realized that I hadn't rated that, right? I hadn't rated that match. So I went back and I just started it from this match. I ended up giving it a 5 stars. I went a full 5 on it. It's a match that if you haven't watched, you should go out of your way to watch it because it was a fucking blast. Shingo looked like a stud, and then you had Jeff Cobb looking like a fucking madman. There's a moment where he just deadlifts Shingo and almost drops him, picks him back up and throws him in the air for a fucking sit-out powerbomb. And I was like, holy fuck, this is so sick. It had me on the edge of my seat. I was captivated the entire time. It's a great match. You should go out of your way to watch.
Sir.
Well, sir.
I think we are at the main event at this point.
We have officially gone through the undercards, fellas. We are at the main 3, and we're gonna start with our women's wrestler of the year, and I'm going to start with Cortland on this one.
My women wrestler of the year, surprise, surprise, is Britt Baker. I think that she has done great things this year. I think storytelling is at all-time high. Even when she loses matches, she's still a vocal point of that match. I think that this next year is only going to show that, even if she drops this belt. And I hope that does happen soon. I'd love to see Britt chase the belt. Just see what that's like for me personally. But yeah, man, nothing but great things to say about her. But next year when we do this, honorable mention, I would like to say that I believe that Liv Morgan will be talked about next year as one of the women's of the year. She's done great things for me this year when it comes to WWE product, and given what she's been given, it's hard to deny that even with the bullshit she's given, she's still doing her best, and I'm pulling for her 100%. But in 15 years, 18 years...
Liv Morgan, you get her ass the fuck out of here. Oh.
We will be talking
about a special guest, everybody.
Yes!
We'll be talking about the real woman of professional wrestling. And that'll be Lydia Winter.
I love it.
There we go.
I love
Wrestler of the year.
See, you guys get to see it live and in person.
You guys are talking about underrated moments.
I love it.
Oh yeah, she's got an I Love Wrestling shirt on.
That's good stuff.
Horrible.
What if she threw up on you right now?
I would love it. Fucking die.
We'd have to call it quits. Alex took a break from her.
Do not drop this baby on live.
And also,
do not. What's up, girl?
That hard ass
that. Very sick.
women wrestling.
Alex took a break from her rivalry of the year spam posts to let us say hello to Lydia. I could cry. Thank you for that. And we're just gonna bounce it over to Pat. Pat's ready to fucking go. I see it. He's pointing at me, ready to go.
My woman of the year. Look, it's Britt Baker. I wish it wasn't. Because I love Thunder Rosa and I think she deserves it. But Britt Baker's a shit. We all know. There's no question. I honestly wanted to put Charlotte Flair on this list just to argue. Just to get an argument.
Yeah.
Just to get an
there
argument.
it is. Y'all are fucking wild.
I love me some of the Queen. But I'm gonna let it slide. Britt Baker, woman of the year.
I love it. Hunter in the chat said, "That's my niece, cowards. Praise the child." Let's go over to Casey.
I decided very early on. Honestly, I think this is probably one of the first ones I answered. She is the first ever back-to-back knockout of the year. Deonna Purrazzo. She fucking goddamn. There is someone that carried a fucking promotion on their back. It is her with Impact Wrestling. She held that title, and I wanted to make sure I didn't fuck it up. She held it for 343 days.
Golly.
And I hope to God at Hard to Kill she gets that fucking title back. She's also currently the AAA's Reina de Durena's champion, so she's their women's champion as well. Like,
Jeff is excited, man. Jeff is so pumped.
He had wrote it in the chat when Cortland was going, and I was like, "Fuck, you're gonna ruin this for me," because I was like, "This is my girl. She's done some amazing stuff. Even like the weirdest thought process of like, I've really enjoyed like her feud with Mickie James that she's had, like that she's been going through. It's fucking insane. Like,
it's so good.
Country.
Hardcore country.
All right. Well,
yeah,
I'll tell you, I used to love me some Mickie James. Sorry, we're on live.
Oh no! Oh my god!
I fucking hate
Sorry,
it.
we're on live. We're live, pal.
We're all right. Horny JR over here with his lotion.
Nah,
He's ready to go.
She wasn't 41 and a half inches long, but boy.
That's the one right there.
Well, all right, fellas. All right, let's reel it in.
Moving on.
But yeah,
Anything else you wanted to add there, Casey,
No,
before I
I
pass
just-
it to Horny Man over here?
don't pass it to him. That's
All right, that's fair. I'll take it.
Fuck it.
It's all good.
no.
I hope I rain on Ethan's parade here.
I hope
Guys,
so.
I want to call you back to March 11th of this year. It was an AEW Dynamite. It was St. Patrick's Day Slam. And I can't believe the disrespect that we've gotten against this this unsanctioned lights out match. And dare we forget who won this match? My women's wrestler of the year is none other than Thunder Rosa. And here's my reason. I'm going Thunder Rosa here because not only has she been tearing it the fuck up in any match that she's in, she matches styles with anybody almost flawlessly. She has gone out of her way to wrestle in every single promotion that will have her. She has wrestled, and now again, a lot of areas aren't running shows, and you have promotions that really don't have the money to bring people in. She still managed to wrestle almost 100 matches this year, and that includes her obligations to AEW, right? Anywhere she has gone, she gets the biggest ovation in the room. Yeah. In the room! It's crazy. So it is hard for me to pick against Thunder Rosa, and that is my women's wrestler of the year. What a queen!
Didn't she tag with her son a couple
just
weeks
recently
ago?
in Warrior Pro Wrestling? I think is what it's called.
Something, yeah.
Thunder Rosa, man, for real.
Yeah. No big deal. It was in Mission Pro Wrestling in San Antonio, Texas. Anakin Rosa. What a fucking name. God bless. Yeah, now I'm angry. And here we go, Mr. Mickey James. Hear you out, bud.
I don't even have to say much. What shirt do I have on, boys?
We already know what it's about.
I didn't plan this spoiler, but this is all I'm going to say.
I thought he was taking it off, and it's actually a different shirt. Move! I didn't plan this. Here's your spoiler.
I didn't plan this. It's fucking Bailey with her fucking ding dong gimmick.
Oh, dude,
it's Stacy Keibler with photoshopped legs.
Nah, it's Britt Baker. Everything's already been said that needs to be said.
I love it. God. I love it. Fellas, we are officially at your men's wrestler of the year. Now, I want to spit this out, and I think Cortland said it in the chat, so I'm going to pass it to Cortland again to start. But can we all collectively agree that Cortland's answer is the right answer? Can we just all collectively agree that when he says it, it's the right answer, right?
We just have a couple of backups at this point, so it's fine.
I love seeing Casey down there. We got male wrestler of the year. It is obviously Bryan Danielson. And it's not just by what he's done in the last few months. You can run back to this man participated in the Royal Rumble. This man main evented WrestleMania. He debuts at All Out. He main events and opens multiple shows for Dynamite and Rampage. He does a 30-minute draw, an hour-long draw, the biggest ratings for the company for those time slots. And then he has this feud with Dark Order that just goes above and beyond. He has this match with Minoru Suzuki. The match with Nick Jackson. Jesus Christ. Nick Jackson, thank you for putting on that match.
Yes.
Because it's so hard to find someone that's tag team wrestler like that, to be able to get in the ring with someone like Bryan Danielson. And the only person you can pick to do it is Nick Jackson. But second to that, I also have a runner-up. And yep, both of them are in AEW. And a lot of people that listen to the show will be surprised by this answer. But Kenny Omega is my runner-up for male wrestler of the year. It is obvious. The numbers do not lie. Yeah. This man is the belt collector. Dude. Just 5 stars everywhere he went, wrestling 3-4 different companies a night, jumping from a squared circle to a 6-sided ring, not missing a beat.
With one arm.
With one arm, to mind you. He really did it all for us this year. And I feel like if anyone really deserves a fucking thank you for what you've done this year, it's Kenny Omega. Because
Alex is pissed in the chat.
You fucking you broke the chat again for just pure,
Alex and Jordan are just like,
what? Amazement. They're like,
I know. I'm surprised at my own answer. Trust me. I am. Like I said, the numbers don't lie. And do I feel like a lot of times Kenny Omega pisses me off? Absolutely. I wish you didn't stand in the ring for 2 minutes fucking Kamikaze and doing all your Goku shit before you decide to jump out of a ring that one person is having to sell.
Big him up. Don't take him down.
Until you get there. Yeah, it's up and over, not fucking Barry with a shovel. But just props to Kenny for beating his fucking body to shit for us this year. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that.
Let's go with man, I know this is polarizing. I'm looking for a fight, y'all. We're going with Ethan up there. Look at him jumping. He's like, yes, please give me that shit. Give me that fucking shit.
No, Bryan Danielson. I mean, Cortland said really it all. I mean, the way I'll approach it, I keep a list. I keep lists all the time as the years go on in wrestling of like every match that was 3 1/4 or higher. I keep a list of like top 25 wrestlers of the year, and I shuffle it as the year goes on. Okay, this person, they're a little better than this person. Now shift it up. For most of the year, Bryan Danielson wasn't on my radar. He was in the top 10 or 15. He main evented WrestleMania. You know what I mean? He did the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? He did a lot of good shit in WWE that I don't want to go on. It needs to be talked about. But for the longest part of the year, and these are my 3 runner-ups. I'm gonna just toss them out and not really go into them that much. But all year to me, it was a toss-up between 3 guys until Danielson showed up and had this run in AEW, and then that combined with the WWE shit, it was like this. There's no other pick. But those 3 guys were Kenny Omega, Shingo Takagi, and Roman Reigns. Those were the 3 that is just between. Yeah.
Yes.
And with those 3, Cortland once again detailed the reasons behind Kenny. They speak for themselves. Shingo, he carried New Japan on his back from the Cobb match to the Ospreay match. Ibushi got hurt. Ospreay couldn't make it in. Everyone got hurt. Shingo was there. You know what I mean? He took it on his back. He wrestled all year and busted his fucking ass. And he deserves the recognition. That alone almost made me pick him, but you can't deny Danielson. And then with Roman Reigns, the guy's having the best year of his career. Huh?
Yeah.
Is that the improvement of Roman Reigns? It's insane, man. Just to watch his mannerisms, the storytelling in the ring, these promos. It's really hard for a lot of people that just no matter what want to shit on Roman. I get it. I spent the last fucking how many years shitting on him. But dude, you just can't deny how good this story is, man.
Yeah, the booking, it's his delivery, but the way they're handling it, you know what I mean? And the way he's executing how they're handling it. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, keep that fucking strap on him because there's nobody that deserves to take it off.
Nope. Nobody. And as long as he keeps going over people like Kevin Owens, he keeps going over people that you want to have the belt, like Cesaro. Give him that title shot, dude, and make him fucking beat Cesaro for 30 minutes straight. Make it undeniable. Make him fucking use one foot for the pin for all I give a shit.
Yeah.
I want this to go as long as possible to make the internet wrestling community that much more mad about. It's so
Portland shows violence.
It's
and the thing is, man, I've been on for a long time, I was like, oh, fuck Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is boring, you know what I mean? Or I was just indifferent. And I'm not saying that I'm over here right now saying Roman Reigns is one of my favorites to watch, but my thing is, I love good, simple fucking booking, and they're fucking killing it. You know what I mean? Like, why? Who should be champion besides that guy, man? You know what I mean? People can say it's repetitive. It is repetitive, but dude, whenever they find the right person at the right time to take that fucking strap off of him, they are going to have a fucking star right then and fucking there.
Casey.
Hunter wrote, Roman smokes mids. I just wanted to
he probably does.
He probably does. Nah, man. The dude's in remission. He's smoking down, bro.
Yo, look.
Jeff was like, Hunt, he had leukemia. That's messed up.
Thanks, Jeff. Fucking asshole. Oh, chill out. We're canceled. It's over.
Easy.
See you later. Bye. No.
But yeah, I'll wrap. Bryan Danielson is my pick. I just wanted to shout out those runner-ups because I think Bryan Danielson as the unanimous wrestler of the year explains itself. I don't want to, beat the dead horse.
Perfect, dude.
Yeah,
I agree with all 3 of those picks. I think they're phenomenal picks.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Pat, you got some eyes on you, bud. Let's get it done.
Eyes on me. There's nothing really to add. Bryan Danielson is the wrestler of the year. If I had to have a runner-up, I mean, Kenny, man. Let me tell you something. Before this year, I didn't like Kenny Omega at all.
This house shit on Kenny Omega?
So much. And it wasn't even like I didn't like him. I just couldn't watch Kenny Omega matches. It's just too much for me. Like the posing and the fucking shooting and all. I just couldn't do it. this year, it was like that was one of the only wrestlers I really wanted to watch was Kenny matches. It's just like, and then when you see the interview that he had about his like health and stuff, and you find out like everything he's done this year, he's done with like a fucked up shoulder, and he's basically been doing all this with one arm, not being able to lift people. Like it's more than impressive. It's like God shit. Like that's like GOAT activity.
And now your finisher is the one-winged angel, and you're pulling that with one arm. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
With one wing.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like it's like
insane.
And he had a GOAT-esque year. Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, excuse me, had a GOAT-esque year.
I watched Cortland almost do it too. I watched Cortland have to like get it in his head, like Bryan Danielson, right? That's the. I watched the process in his head for.
I'm gonna just. Can I call him Lloyd? Can I just?
There you go,
Lord.
One thing on the Kenny thing too that I like to mention too is just seeing him transition from, you know, the thing about Kenny is, you know, I don't want to touch too much on what I'm going to mention later, but I mean, that guy went from being a star in Japan to being an American television wrestling star. And that's a big jump.
Yeah.
And for him to transition nationalities and just the entire presentation of himself and sell it the way he's done, I think that's what's probably won you over. You know what I mean? Putting him with Don Callis, you know, he presented himself as an American wrestling heel on TV, you know, and he.
Man, can we talk about for a second Don Callis? I hate this man with a burning passion. I've hated him since he was fucking Cyrus.
The motherfucking virus, bro.
Fucking Cyrus, the goddamn network. Like, and he just makes me hate him so much. But the more I see him, every time I see him in this ridiculous pink ass suit that he's worn for 3 months fucking straight,
it's endearing, baby.
It's awesome because I'm like, dude, there's no one I want to hate more.
He is
than
the
Don
best, worst fucking manager, and it's great.
Dude, it's awesome. If he carried around a whistle like Bill Alfonso, I'd probably kill him. I'm like, I hate you so much. Like, you've taken all the things I hate the most in wrestling, which is yourself and the whistle, and combined it.
Good Lord. All right, well, now we're going to move on to Mr. El Gordo Bam Bam Gringo down there.
It's going to make my name just extra long.
I'm just going to keep adding on to it.
Just keep adding at it. So this might potentially be controversial, although I do agree that Mr. Danielson deserves all the love in the world. I had wrote down Kenny as one of the second or third things that I ever wrote on this list, and it all does stem through the fact that that motherfucker was hurt the whole year, and we're talking like he put on some amazing matches and he couldn't lift his arms past his shoulders, And so it's one of those things like we've all gone over it, so we can kind of speed these up. My honorable mention is gonna be Shingo.
Yes.
What
a fucking year, man.
If you look at like I said, when I was looking at matches to try to find for reviewing purposes, multiple lists, Shingo was on there 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
And we're talking like 5 1/4, 5 1/2. 6.
6 1/2
is what we're sitting at for all of these matches. And it's like, I unfortunately, Jesus Christ, I just look over and all I see is tattoo your head.
Tattoo your head, Casey. Talking about Bam Bam. Good shit.
But it's like I haven't gotten the privilege to watch all those matches yet. But like just for the sole fact that it's like, Japan was in fucking dire straits. And for this guy to just kind of come out to where like I didn't really hear anything about him like prior to this year, so for him to be like, I'm fucking like, I am taking this shit and I'm gonna be the guy, and then like all of us together have now watched just the Offspring match that you had told us to watch, and like Jesus Christ, like this guy deserves everything.
It's insane to me because Shingo has been the hidden gem for so long, because like this dude's been doing this shit like 2009 first Dragon Gate USA show, him and Bryan Danielson had a 5-star match. You know what I mean? It's like he's been killing it for so long, but when he's been in, like I said, you know, the Japanese wrestlers are so loyal to their set promotion, and he was a Dragon Gate guy. He came up with Shima, you know what I mean? He trained in the Dragon Gate dojo, and he was that for like 15 years. You know, but Dragon Gate is such a, you know,
it's small and niche.
Yeah, it's that little thing, you know what I mean? And seeing him, that's why it means so much to me to see him have this year and beat Ospreay. You know, a lot of people say he's a transitional champion or he's this. I'm like, man, this dude is a fucking world-class dude who's finally getting the chance to, like, be the top guy in the biggest company in Japan
It's a disservice to him, and honestly, I feel like a lot of companies, it's a disservice not to have that many years under your belt and that many matches, and you're not going to put the strap on him.
Yeah.
Like, over time, you can look at, like, that's why people argued for Bobby Lashley. That's why people still argue for Shelton Benjamin. That's why people still argue for people like Cesaro, is because you've put the work in for so long, and it's like you never get your flowers until people are like, holy shit, you've only held the title
For this,
maybe this one time. And then you got people like Natalya. How many times has she held a title?
Oof,
You know? And it's like, you've been in a company for so long, man. It's obvious that at some point, like, companies are working against you and not with you. Because if you have so many people backing you and them never giving it to you in the end, it hurts a lot of people. Like, I feel like Shelton Benjamin should already be a 4-time, 5-time world heavyweight champion for every single company.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it. All right, y'all. That leads me to my pick, I suppose. I agree. Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega should be up there. I'm going to make a strong case for another man in AEW, and his name is Jon Moxley. Let's talk about Mox's year. He was the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion, brought that thing over, defended on New Japan Strong, defended it in AEW, gave the spotlight to some of those guys, and was able to give it to a transitional champion to get it back to Japan. You also have him representing for GCW on numerous occasions, right? Did the no-fan Bloodsport in February with Davey Boy Smith Jr., beat him by knockout. Then you also had him take on Josh Barnett in their return back during WrestleMania week, which is a violent fucking match.
That Josh Barnett match, if y'all haven't seen it, you have to see it. No ropes, just them beating the fucking dog shit out of each other for like 10 minutes. It was short.
But I think the important thing about Mox's run through the year is how many times he wrestled on dark elevation, right? Putting over younger guys. And he put on good matches. These aren't just like squash matches the entire way. Like, he's putting on decent performances with these guys. He's giving a lot, right? And he went out and, put on for Eddie Kingston, right? This is a guy that was just your champion at the end of 2020, right? He was the AEW World Champion. Is now paired up, wrestling in matches with Eddie Kingston, putting on classics, right? 5-star matches, potentially. You have him defending other companies' belts, wearing other companies' hoodies to bring more attention to other people and other company. For me, it's an easy pick for Jon Moxley. He's a crazy human being, and he just deserves everything, man. He had one of the best death matches of the year with Nick Gage in October. He went on, he wrestled again. We talked about Minoru Suzuki's run. Suzuki and Lance Archer had matches against Kingston and Moxley multiple times. This is a guy who, it's all going to be a what if, right? But what if we did get Mox Danielson, which is where they were heading, or All Out? Like, what if we got that? Like, would he be in that conversation at that point? And, man, I just have a lot of love for Mox because he put a lot of people over, made everybody look great, and just whooped ass everywhere he went. So, strong case for Jon Moxley being my wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
Get well soon, John.
Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we have reached the penultimate award to give away.
Are you lighting a fucking candle?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I already have one lit, but I'm just on my computer. Sorry.
I just saw like the glow off of his arm. Like, he's got lotion on his legs. He's got a candle lit.
Got the French toast candle burning.
We have reached our match of the year. And I'm going to start with Mr. Casey El Gordo Gringo. What did you pick as your match of 2021?
I'm going to start with my honorable mention. I don't feel like it should have been a sleeper match because it has every right to be up there in match quality. Ospreay versus Shingo is my honorable mention. I thought it was great. I picked Danielson versus Omega. And it's one of those ones where it's like, does it seem kind of obvious? Does it not seem kind of obvious? I understand we have some love and hate for people that are involved in that match. I guess like the way I always break these down, because it's always, I have a really hard time giving matches like 5 stars and above. But like the commentating was perfect on it. The match was fucking perfect. The crowd lost their motherfucking minds from before the bell even rang. Like these guys, it was just like collectively, it's just one of the best fucking matches I've seen this year. And I'm like, oh, I'm just like bummed that Omega's hurt, so we can't get a rematch of it yet. It was only 30 minutes. It was on fucking television. Like, we just like, it's like everything collectively. I'm just like, fuck it. Like, this should have been.
Yes.
It was great. It can continue to be great. It's my match of the year.
I love it. I love it. Pat.
My match of the year, honorable mention. First. My honorable mention is going to be, damn, I don't know, man.
Eva Marie versus Doudrop.
I've been interchanging these two choices all day of what's going to be my pick and my honorable mention. So I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to have both. My honorable mention, I'm just doing. My honorable mention is Adam Page and Bryan Danielson from last week.
No, Dynamite.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
That's my honorable mention for match of the year. My match of the year is the fucking cage match, the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. That is my match of the year.
Crazy match to see.
I've watched it 3-4 times now.
I've watched it back a few times,
and each time it's just like it's an amazing match, dude. I even tried to last time we watched it not like it. Like I tried to like nitpick the fuck out of it, and I just couldn't. I love that match. I could watch it any day. It's probably one of the favorite matches I've watched in a long time. So yeah, that's my match of the year.
There's a near fall in that match. Yeah. There's a near fall in that match where they're pinning Pentagon, like the Bucks are pinning Pentagon, and Phoenix just got fucked up, but he still dives in to make the save. And I'll tell you what, man. At that moment, I don't think there was a single ass in a seat in the Now Arena, man. Everybody was standing up like, holy fuck, this is it was such a cool moment, man. Such a cool moment. Cortland, go ahead, bud.
My honorable mention is the all-out steel cage match between the Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks. It's phenomenal. It's probably up there with one of my favorite, if not the best, steel cage match ever done, especially for a tag team. Jesus. And that long, given that time slot, that spot, dude, just it's hard to top it. And it was already a hard card for them to try to top, right? And they fucking pulled out all the stops and innovated spots that we never knew were possible. I mean, fucking Matt Jackson put thumbtacks on the bottom of fucking Dior's.
Dior won.
So, like, you know, it's unbelievable good stuff. My number one, Mike mentioned this match earlier. This is the match that holds up dear to me for some weird reason. I don't know why it's so special to me. I've talked about it several times in the last few weeks to Pat, and I've teared up talking about how great this match is. And it's Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in the Lights Out match.
Yes.
I can't stress enough the storytelling between these two. And we're going to get, just like we have Stone Cold, the bloody face with Bret Hart at WrestleMania, just like we have that photo of Britt Baker.
Yeah.
It was the background of my phone for months. I can't say enough great things about this match. If you haven't seen this match, you are missing out. You have to go see it. This match, I feel like, really put AEW's women's wrestling on the map. And that's why I give a huge prop to Thunder Rosa for making it possible. I hate that Thunder Rosa has said that she feels like she was disrespected after this match. Like she didn't get what she deserved, like the respect she deserved. And that's completely fair. And I try my best to give her credit where it's due. But for me, the MVP for honestly this whole year, and that's why it was hard to do male and female Wrestler of the Year, because if it would have just been Wrestler of the Year, it would have been Britt Baker. It's plain and simple, man. She knows where the camera is at all times. She works it so well. Every match is the perfect placement. She knows where she's at. And I feel like she's just making stars all around. And I mean, you see it in the Tay Conti match. Like I said, Thunder Rosa match. The day that her and Chris Statlander go 30 minutes will be the night that we're all talking about Chris Statlander potentially being one of the best. And it's only going to be because Britt Baker was one of those people that got her to there. That's not saying anything bad about Chris Statlander. I just think that Britt Baker legitimately makes the best look their best. Period.
Hey.
I like it.
Hey.
I like it.
Well, diversity.
Ethan, I'm going to save you for last, sir.
Okay.
I've debated this internally for a little bit, right? But man, after watching it, dude, Shingo versus Will Ospreay.
Bro.
There wasn't listen.
Bro.
I want to give a couple shout outs, right? One, Danielson Omega was fucking awesome. 2, the steel cage match, fucking great. I already discussed the Thunder Rosa match and Britt Baker match. All 3 of those matches, I went 5 stars on. That's important to know. I also want to shout out, because I went back and watched the hour-long draw between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson. And I was critical about it when we did a pod about it.
Yeah.
I was very critical of it. That was the perfect match for an hour-long TV wrestling match. Like, that was flawless. There's no better story to tell, right? It was perfect cadence. Everything was great. So I take back all the bullshit I said about it being a weird little spots. It felt great rewatching.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't a better wrestling match than Shingo versus Ospreay this year.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't a better match than Shingo Ospreay this year.
I mean,
the storytelling,
like clinic.
The pacing of New Japan matches, I've just come to realize I love it, man. They tell their story early, and then it's who the fuck outlasts the other.
Yep.
And boy, oh boy, was this a clinic, man. This was fucking awesome. A match that if I decided that I wanted to break a scale, it'd probably be the only match I ever break the scale for, but I'm sticking right at 5 stars for it. The only match I'll ever break it that I've ever seen. And it was fucking great, man. I don't see how you could go any other way, but I do understand the argument of American wrestling with Bryan Danielson having, I don't think he's had a match below 4 stars yet in AEW. So tearing it the fuck down. But like I said, Shingo Ospreay, if you point out a better match than that in 2021, I'd love to watch it because I don't see it.
Just the back-to-back shooting star presses spot.
The shooting star press
fucking ridiculous.
On a drape. Oh, dude, it was on a draped Shingo. So and then he hits it again. It was just, dude.
To me, I just want to talk about the spot in this match. It meant so much. Like the clothesline, the kick out, and then you have Ospreay leaning on the rope, exhausted, completely drained. And Taki hits the rope, which turns Ospreay around, and he hits him for this clothesline that turns him completely inside out. Ospreay lands perfect, doesn't tuck the knees, doesn't tuck anything, just flat, perfect. And this 3 count couldn't have meant more, man. You had you look in the crowd, there's people grabbing this rail, and they're squeezing it so tight because they're so ready for this 3 count, and they still don't get it. And guess what? There's another 20 fucking minutes to this match.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, and it didn't...
Before a table spot from the apron.
The thing is, even with all of that, it still didn't overstay its welcome.
Nope. Not for a second.
That's the
literally
important
watched that
thing.
match twice. I watched it and then watched it again. Like
It's 45 minutes long, man. It's so long.
I watched it on my phone because I couldn't Chromecast it. I can't understand that website.
I watched it at fucking 3:00 in the morning last night, and I had work at 7. I watched it then, and then I watched it as soon as I got home, just to validate what I thought.
Did you watch the Walter Dragunov match?
I watched it live. I need to go back and rewatch it. But I did watch it happen because I was like, that's just fine, I guess. But man, no better match that happened this year on planet Earth.
Unless Ethan has something else to say.
Unless Ethan has something for us.
I will say it off the bat. I don't have anything different than anything that's already been said. But I do, before I get into mine, I want to say I'm so glad that Shingo and Ospreay is getting as much love as it is. I'm so glad Shingo in general is getting the love that he is. Because, man, that dude's so fucking amazing. And that's why I picked it as my sleeper, because I'm so glad I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know if you regard it as highly as I did, because, you know, I know y'all don't watch that much Japanese stuff, but I was like, I know good and well they're going to love this shit. Like, they've got to.
It's just tough, man.
It's like mostly like the scheduling of like, they're like, oh, we're going live and it's fucking 2 in the goddamn morning. Like, it's brutal. But like, every time, I don't think a single one of us can say like we've like watched a Japanese match and been like, meh. Like, they're all fucking amazing. No. It's just like, it's really hard to keep up with them.
Very hard to keep up with.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, they do fucking so many events just like back to back to back to back to back. And it's like, I got to stay up for 4 days or 3 days to watch Wrestle Kingdom from like 3 in the morning until 9 a.m.
Well, it's like you have Wrestle Kingdom that's like fucking 2 or 3 days long. And then it's like they have like, it's like 3 days long. And then they have like the tour of fucking Wrestle Kingdom that goes like to all the different islands. So it's like 3.5 weeks of Wrestle Kingdom. You're like, I don't know what happened anymore.
Yeah.
Ethan, before you dive in, I just want to touch on what Kevin Kelly said after the 3 count on that match. He said, "We're prisoners of the moment. I've called Omega and Okada. I've called Tanahashi and Okada. I've called Jay and Ibushi, but this is the best wrestling match I've ever called."
Holy shit.
Fucking A.
That's awesome.
It's just wild to me because the comparisons it's getting, but it doesn't get that praise. You hear Okada and Omega, but you don't nearly hear as many people talking about this Ospreay Shingo. But, you know, once again, the scheduling makes it weird. But, I mean, I would put it right up there with Okada and Omega. And I went 5 on both. But just insane. But
Alex just said, I just realized something. Ethan struggled so hard to say La Resistance, but could pronounce all the Japan shit with precision.
What can I say? I'm a mark. So my pick for match of the year is Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega from the Arthur Ashe Stadium. My reasoning behind it, and it's really tough for me now though, because Mike laying out how good Shingo and Ospreay was when I was talking about it, makes me want to pick that because I was so close to picking it, but it's hard for me sometimes to to fully connect with some Japanese wrestling in the way that I do American wrestling. Just the language barrier, the cultural difference, you know what I mean? It's hard sometimes to get as fully invested, and I love Japanese wrestling. But I'm going to stick with what I picked. And I knew several people might pick this, so I tried to bring in a different perspective to what it meant to me and what I feel like it meant as a match. So for me, this match, you know, Page and Omega was the culmination of what AEW has been. This Omega Danielson match to me is the culmination of what wrestling has been in the last 10 years, where it came from and where it's at now. And the reason I say that is, to me, when I watch this match, and mainly when I watch that opening clip, when that bell rings and that crowd's going nuts and Kenny's got that look on his face and Danielson smirks, like, it just sends goosebumps up me every time, because to me that tells so much of a story. And to me, watching it back, all I can think of is, you know, back in around 2009, 2010, Danielson was wrapping up his tenure on the Indies. and he went into deep water. He went into WWE. Kenny Omega around 2009-10 moved to Japan. A whole nother deep water to dive in. And now here, 11 years later, both men went in that deep water on total different sides of the world. And they changed wrestling in both sides of the world. Kenny went to Japan. He learned Japanese. He lived in Japan. He fucking got New Japan and Hot Topic in America. You know what I mean? He got, a fucking billionaire to want to fucking start a company to rival Vince. And then fucking Danielson. He turned WWE inside out. He fucking made them put him in the main. Not even him making them. He was so fucking good that the fans made them put him in the main event with Batista and Triple H. Two people that you never would have seen. Fucking Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan yesing and acting goofy, being in the caliber of. These two dudes fucking, you see them fucking in 2009. I know Danielson had already made a run for himself, but still, you know what I mean? The casual wrestling fan, that's not what, in 2009, your average wrestler wasn't guys like them. You know what I mean? And so, sorry, y'all got me distracted. I knew you were looking at something in the chat. But anyway.
Christ.
So my thing
Alex
was,
is going nuts.
for these guys to do
what does she do?
That's fine.
Okay.
For these two guys to do what they're doing, or do what they did, jump into that deep water, come out as superstars, and now they meet here in AEW, something that wouldn't have existed if it weren't for Daniel Bryan going to WWE and showing people, hey, and I CM Punk's attributed to it too, but in this case, we're focusing on Bryan, showing people that, hey, there's these guys out here that aren't big, they aren't flashy, but they can fucking go. And that's a short, description of what I feel like Bryan Danielson proves to the WWE universe or whatever. And then you have Kenny, a guy who goes to Japan and is very weird and quirky and loves video games and likes to wrestle dolls. The next thing you know, this dude's fucking having some of the best matches of all time. And now you're here in, to me, a universe that these two guys created by fucking changing wrestling. Literally. Because, not to go off on a whole nother... Huh?
Nothing. Keep going, man.
Not to go off on a whole nother tangent, but to me, there's a number of people who changed wrestling in the past 15 years, and these two are one of them. I would say Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and the Young Bucks really fucking changed wrestling. And to me, this is the culmination of everything that's fucking happened. You know what I mean? Punk leaving wrestling and Punk coming back, you know what I mean? Just all this stuff is now here. And these two guys are here. And when that bell rings and that crowd goes nuts, whether, I don't want to speak for 10,000, 20,000 people, but whether those people knew it or not, I felt the reason they're so hyped is because they're like, damn, dude, this is where we're at now. These two guys, you know what I mean? That they're now back here and they're fucking superstars. It's just, to me, that's what made it so special, whether we all realize it or not, is like, damn, these guys changed fucking professional wrestling. And now they're here in an environment their hard work created. 20,000 in a fucking arena in a company in America that's not WWE in 2021. Who would have ever fucking thought? That's why this match to me is so monumental, because, Shingo and Ospreay, the work's fucking phenomenal, the story's great, but to me, Danielson, Omega, Arthur Ashe will live forever. We may not realize it now, but I feel like in 20 years, people are going to look back and be like, holy shit, man. That was one of those moments where these guys, we really realized what we had on our hands and what has happened in the past decade of wrestling. So,
I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Fellas, we have been live for 3 hours, almost on the dot. Is there anything any of you four would like to add before I get us the fuck on out of here?
I just want to thank everyone for being here. Case touched on it earlier. Starting this, trying to start this for years now, and finally being able to make everyone's time kind of fit, and me finally convincing Pat to do this with me so I didn't venture into this alone. It just means the world that not only did this year bring me my beautiful daughter, but it brought me closer together with one of my oldest friends in the world, which is Mike. It's made my connection with Ethan and Casey even stronger. Pat and I bond even more than we already have over the last 5 years through pro wrestling, which is something that we both have enjoyed our entire lives. And to do this together and shit on old stuff and love new stuff, it means the world to me. It means the world that we get to do these lives and Rampage reviews. I can't imagine a better group of people to do this with. And I'm glad that 2022, there's going to be a new face of this podcast. There's going to be a lot of great things that are coming. And I can't wait to release all of this. And, you know, just I'm really excited for this next year.
Calendar year's ass. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to delete
I
all
love
the
you
episodes.
guys, man.
I love you guys.
Case,
love you.
Here's to hoping that we get weekly uploads in case he doesn't decide to delete shit.
Going into business for myself, pal.
It's the truth, bud. Booker man over there. All right, guys, let's get the fuck on out of here. It's been 3 hours. I have been in this fucking ski mask and I am sweating like a bitch.
Commend you for that.
You're not the only one.
You wore a ski mask for 3 hours, doesn't hit no licks.
I got my fucking Pfizer booster shot before this, and I'm sweating my ass off. I'm probably about to come down. So
probably about to come. All right, guys. If you're still here, thanks for listening to another podcast. Firstly, we appreciate you guys sticking in here for 3 hours, sticking with us live. We hope you guys were entertained. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have questions or if you wanted to argue your point on one of our words, feel free to hit us up on Twitter at UpAndOverPod. That's where you'll find all 5 of our social medias as well. On Twitter and on Instagram and TikTok at UpAndOverPod. For Pat, for Cortland, for Ethan, and Bam Bam Bigelow himself, I'm Mike. We hope you guys enjoyed your stay, and we'll see you guys again next week.